Yes, it is homecoming in Oregon. Oregon versus Stoughton. The Badgers South Bowl coming straight ahead. First up, it's the 10-Pin Alley pregame show. Along with Eric Rogers, I am Rich Reynolds, and we're kind of pumped up for this one. The winds of change have come. The fall is in the air. It's good football weather, and we finally, I think, have two good football teams on the field at the same time.
And we'll talk about this throughout the broadcast as far as how these teams have gotten here. Stoughton 5-0, but they haven't played any team above 500 yet. No winning records. Oregon's kind of the opposite story. They've played, your MGs. They've played your Mount Horeb Barnevelds, and now they come into this game with a chance against Stoughton. And the record at 3-2 overall doesn't look as impressive, but they've been battle tested so far, and the rivalry speaks for itself.
Absolutely. Not only have they played them tough. It's not like they got blown off the field. Those are one-score football games. Plus, they beat a very good DeForest team to start the season off as well. So Oregon, like you said, battle-tested for Stoughton. The test is ahead of them. The gauntlet basically starts tonight in the Badger South.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a battle of Stoughton's versatile offense, the passing quarterback who also has the ability to run, versus Oregon's defense. They've built their bread and butter around that defense, and especially John Clues, the linebacker. He's going to be a key player to keep your eye on, and he's going to be able to keep Stoughton contained.
We will be watching him tonight. We're also going to get a chance to talk to the Dans. That is next. Both head coaches, the first name Dan. They're not related.
Weird.
Yeah, I know. We're going to have that next as the 10-Pin Alley pregame show rolls on right here on 57 Sports. Back on the 10-Pin Alley pregame show as we are joined now by the head coach of the Stoughton Vikings and Dan Prawl. And Coach, so far so good on the season. You're undefeated. A real hard stretch of the schedule is coming up right now. How do you get the guys up week in and week out for what is going to be the gauntlet through the Badger South?
Like you said, we no doubt about it, this is going to be the hardest test these next 3 weeks. But we lock in 1 week at a time. We got a really good opponent in Oregon today. And it's just all our focus goes right there.
I'm sure we'll talk about the connections between you and the school for a lot of the time during the broadcast, but let's talk about the fact that you guys can clinch not only a spot in the playoffs, a spot in the postseason. So the history of Stoughton and not have so many playoff appearances, what does that mean to you as far as the culture of this school?
It does mean a lot, but we're locked in on 1-0, and our first goal is a conference title. If we take care of that, postseason will come with that. But yeah, it's been great. Our guys enjoy it. Guys are starting to buy in, and it's been fun.
One guy who's been putting up big numbers is your signal caller, Adam Hobson. Talk about him a little bit. What does he bring to the table?
Oh, he's fantastic. He great athlete, but he runs, he throws. He can even play some defense if we need him to, but he's a leader. He's got good guys around him too. It's not just Adam. We got a good offensive line that keeps getting better each week, and our skill guys are pretty good too. So
our alternative name for this was the Dan Bowl, because we have you're Dan Prawl, we have Dan Kissling, the coach for Oregon, coming up here, or talking to him, and just the connections there. Obviously, you playing here and knowing what he has done for this program, and your father as well. So what is that like, the respect for you guys and each other? And then, I assume he kind of knows what to expect from you and vice versa.
Yeah, I love it. Coach Kiss is great. He was my coach in high school, playing for my dad. But we love it. It's a great atmosphere. I always love coming back here. And, it'll be electric tonight.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it. The Dan Bowl coming up in just a bit. We're going to talk to the other Dan Kissling, up next here on the 10-Pin Alley pregame show on 57 Sports. Back on the 10-Pin Alley pregame shows, we're getting set for the Badger South Bowl. Talking now to the erstwhile head coach of the Oregon Panthers, Dan Kissling. And Coach, homecoming kind of feels like football weather. One of the things that I'm kind of struck with tonight, usually you get a cupcake on the schedule for homecoming. You want the alumni going away happy. You guys maybe couldn't have picked a harder opponent.
Yeah, if I could pick the opponent, we might have somebody different on the schedule there, but I'm not the one making the call here. It's usually the person in charge of homecoming, whatever works out best for them. And we just game plan from week to week, and just so happens to be a night.
Well, ever since one of your former players, Dan Prawl, has taken over the program at Stoughton, it has been tough sledding between the two teams for Oregon's side. What can you say about his game, maybe as a player, translating to maybe the skills on the field as a coach?
Dan was always one of those kids that was very confident, and you can tell when he comes out here and he coaches, he does some things, onside kicks and so forth, because he's very confident in his defense, and he's always been that way, and he's always been a student of the game, with his dad being a coach and stuff. So it's going to be fun. We text back and forth through the course of the week here a little bit here, kind of give each other a hard time, and it's been a good it's been a good ribbon. So.
Very confident, I think, is code for cocky. But speaking of which,
you gotta be a little cocky.
Yeah, right. He's feeling pretty confident about his offense. You guys always have a strong defense. How do you feel you match up tonight?
Well, that's the thing. We've the last couple of games we've haven't played the kind of the teams that he's played, and we just hope that we're a little banged up a little bit in some of our spots on defense, and hopefully we can still put up take care of them. That's the thing, that they don't have their big guns last year, Brady Shipper and all those guys that are gone, but they're still pretty potent. It's going to be really interesting. So hopefully we can just play with them.
Historically speaking, Oregon, a lot of running has happened over the years, and your team has a lot of different formations in the backfield and guys catching the ball out of the backfield and multiple, misdirections. So how does that game plan been developed over the years? Is that something you just kind of developed based on the personnel?
I think it's based on our personnel. We've also been, we haven't really had a chance to, go head-to-head with a lot of teams in the Badger Conference. Our guys are a little bit smaller on the offensive line, and we just thought the wing tee would be the best thing to do, and we've just been our kind of like adjusting to it, try to make it a little more fun for the kids, and it seems to be working. Since we've done it in the last 5 years, our offensive production has gotten so much better. So it's helped. It's worked for us.
Homecoming tonight, always a big game, Coach. Good luck to you. Thanks for stopping by.
Coach.
We appreciate it. The Blow and Smoke Tailgating Show is up next as we approach kickoff here on 57 Sports.
Hi, welcome back. This is the Starry and Bake pregame show and an award ceremony to a deserving community leader. I'm about to introduce you to Heather Kugel, who is here with the Oregon Booster Club. Thanks so much for being here tonight.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
You're here pretty much every game, it sounds like, as the Booster Club is doing a lot. Share with us a little bit what you shared with me before we started about how unique this Booster Club is.
So our Booster Club is different from most other booster clubs because we raise money through concessions and through different fundraisers throughout the years, because our school does not have fees per sport as other communities do. And so we utilize our concessions to provide the money that is necessary to give to the sports, whether it's a scoreboard, concession stands, coats, clothing, whatever is needed per team.
Truly a community leader, also a parent of students at the Oregon system. We've got Starry and Bank here with us tonight. This is Troy Mitchell, and this award is made possible because of great folks like you over at Starry and Bank. So I will let you do the honors. I know you want to say thank you.
Heather, on behalf of Starry and Bank, we'd like to present the Community Leader Award. Thank you for all you do in the community.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, thanks to Starry and Bank, thanks so much to 57 Sports, and thanks to great folks like this in our community. I think that Heather would say this is truly for the entire Oregon Booster Club, as you guys have all done some great work, so thanks so much.
Yes, thanks to all the parents that put in all the time.
We'll be back with more here at the Oregon game. We'll be back. This is the Starry and Bank community leader. We've got a student leader for you later in the game, so stick with us.
Fans are getting pumped up for this one. It should be a good one. The Badgers South Bowl, Oregon hosting Stoughton, as everybody getting on their feet right now for the national anthem. Our national anthem brought to us by 1901 Group. Tell you what, the home bleachers are filled to capacity. They are still filing in on the visitors' side. We are going to have a rowdy crowd here tonight. It's homecoming in Oregon. The Panthers, the Vikings, up next here on 57 Sports.
This has been easy. I haven't had to talk so far.
Just about time for kickoff here from Oregon on a nice early autumn evening. Maybe it's still summer, I think. I don't know, but we will remember the 21st night of September.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Along with Eric Rogers, I am Rich Reynolds, getting set for this one. And I tell you what, Eric, I'm excited about this game here tonight. The Badger South Bowl. These are two good football teams that are going to go at it here tonight.
Well, we saw as Stoughton came on the field, this Oregon crowd living up to the hype of this rivalry and what it's been over the years. These two teams respect each other but don't like each other. And, you know, Stoughton maybe giving a little something to the crowd saying, yeah, boo us, go ahead, and we're confident we're going to win this ball game, and Oregon's got to feel the same way.
Familiarity breeds contempt is the statement, and these two schools so close to each other, right down Highway 138, and the both of them going to be going at it tonight. Stoughton comes in with a record of 5-0, 3-0 inside the conference. Oregon comes in tonight 3-2, but a little bit misleading in that record. They've taken on some tough opponents so far.
Yeah, we talked about that in the pregame show about, you know, the schedule for Oregon has been tough sledding so far, and it doesn't get any easier necessarily tonight, but their schedule does get easier as next week they will take on 1-4 overall, 0-3 in the conference, Edgewood, whereas Stoughton has the opposite. They will host 4-1, 3-0 Watertown.
Yeah, and then after that, it's MG, who we already saw, and they're very good. Short little kick and a fair catch taken at the 37-yard line, and Oregon will go to work there, and their starting quarterback is senior Nolan Look, and Look's numbers don't look as impressive as Hobson's. What do we know about the senior signal caller?
Yeah, he's completing just under 51% of his passes. He only has 460 yards. He has 6 touchdowns on the season. But he is not necessarily the star of this offense. We'll talk about that a little bit more as the game goes on.
Dylan DiMaggio, Keon Schutte are the tailbacks as they are going to run a little option right here, and it is going to be Schutte on the first carrying off the left side. He has room, and he has our very first courtesy Ford first down of the night on a pickup of 12 yards and a nice little counter there by the Panthers.
Talked with Coach Dan Kissling of the Panthers before the game started about that backfield, about how many different running back options they have, the different formations you're going to see. So if Stoughton can, I don't know if they're going to be able to counter that or, you know, identify as the game goes on, but that could be troublesome.
Again, running kind of that option look that you see from maybe like the Air Force Academy right there as Schutte, once again the ball carrier, he brings it up to midfield. Keon Schutte's been a busy ball carrier this season.
He has 59 carries coming into this game, ranked second in the conference with 471 yards and a couple touchdowns as well. So he's definitely going to be a guy to keep an eye on, number 8.
Panthers on their first drive of the night, just getting going here tonight. Homecoming, and they picked a tough opponent to face off with this evening. It's going to be Schutte once again. Once again, the left side as he will cut it back. Good open field tackle that time by Trenton Conklin. If Conklin's not there, Schutte's still running.
Yeah, look at the offensive lineman, number 54, Brandon Schultz for the Panthers. Pancakes his defender he was going up against on that play. And we're also seeing already what we saw on film from last week. The Panthers like to run or pull their offensive guards and their tackles and then run that way. So a lot of movement on this offensive line.
Ground and pound along with a good defense as now it's Dylan DiMaggio. His first carry of the night, breaks 2 tackles, and he's off to the races. Down the right sideline, inside the 20. Dylan DiMaggio on 3rd and short, gets a first down and then some as a pickup on the play of 34 yards.
Well, DiMaggio also that other kind of guy you're watching out for in the backfield. He has a touchdown receiving as well. So not only is he tied for second with 5 rushing touchdowns, watch out for him in the passing game.
Wow, great replay there, too, as our crew giving you the sights and sounds in HD here tonight. And it looks awesome, as so do the Panthers on their first drive. And a good pickup up maybe about 3 yards on first down, as it's DiMaggio once again getting the carry.
One thing we didn't talk about, Rich, in that 10 Penalty pregame show would be the struggles Stoughton had last week. I mean, they were held to just 311 offensive yards in that 13-6 win over Monroe, which was a season low in points and yardage, and they're averaging 30.4 points per game. But right now, they're just focused on their defense. Can they stop Oregon?
Yeah, you almost had to think that they were looking ahead, as Monroe still winless on the season. 2nd and 7 now. Opening drive for the Panthers. It's going to be Schutte, cuts it back up the middle into the end zone, and it is a touchdown. Touchdown Panthers. Keon Schutte scampers for 10 yards, and it is Oregon that's on the board first. They made that drive look awfully easy.
It really was, and that was the only time we've seen anything different. It was a more typical power eye offense, and Jed, you just follow your blocks and strong man against strong man, and Oregon won the battle.
A Geeks Mania arcade touchdown as the Panthers lead at 6-0. Looking for the cherry on top. It's the extra point, and it is good. 7-0. Wow. The Panthers come out pumped up here on Oregon here on homecoming night. We'll take a break. We're back after this on 57 Sports. Wow. Touchdown on the opening drive for the Oregon Panthers, as they are looking to even up their record in the Badger South Conference. Stoughton looking for another conference title and to wrap up a playoff berth here tonight, but it's not going to be easy here tonight. The Panthers are going to be heard from.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Oregon, if they win this game, then they play Edgewood next week. If they win those two, they're obviously clinching a playoff berth. Stoughton can clinch a playoff berth with a win tonight, but as you said, it's not going to be easy, and we've already seen now Oregon just march up and down the field without really any resistance.
Stoughton, by the way, had won the coin toss, elected to defer to the second half, and that's because there's a good wind that is going to be at their back when they're on offense. So first, the kickoff return and pretty decent field position for the Vikings as Connor Knopf takes it across the 30-yard line, and we're going to get our first look at Adam Hobson. Hobson, just a junior, but he has been on fire so far this season.
He absolutely has. I mean, you're looking at his passing stats, completing 64% of his passes, which ranks first in the conference among passers who've completed at least 10 attempts. He ranks 3rd in yards, 1st in touchdowns, and only has 2 picks. So it definitely could be an offense. We are watching a lot of Hobson.
Out of shotgun to start as Hutcherson is a man in motion, and the give off of the right side. Not a lot of room there at all. Tough sledding for Dwight Walker, as a good job by the Panther defense stretching that play out.
Yeah, all you're looking to do if you're Oregon anyway, is if you're just keeping containment, stay within your gaps and your assignments. Don't go too aggressive on those, and you're seeing right there in the middle, number 32, that linebacker, John Clues. I've seen some stuff on film from him over the last couple of weeks where he's just been very, I guess, easygoing, rarely takes a misstep.
Hutcherson in motion. The give is going to be to Walker once again off the right side. This time positive yardage across the 35. Going to be 3rd and 5 right there. And what you'll take a look at now for the Vikings is they call the play right at the line of scrimmage. They all just look at their wrist. They got all the plays right on their wrist. They run it right from there.
Yeah, an interesting, more different approach to offense. And what we saw on that play defensively, John Clues, that we just talked about on the previous play, was in on that tackle. And yeah, you did mention the play calling at the line of scrimmage, and maybe something Coach Dan Prohl learned in his days coaching with Lance Leipold at UW Whitewater.
Third down, actually 6 now, as we might get a chance to see Hobson throw in the pocket. Plenty of time. Looks for his man, finds Walker, who's out nearly to midfield. The ball comes out, but it looks like
a completion now.
That was a completion, and then the ball came out after he hit the ground. It's a courtesy Ford. First down at courtesy Ford. It's courtesy that counts, and what counts there for the Vikings is that they didn't go 3 and out.
Yeah, if you're looking at this at some of the other leagues, is that a catch? Did he maintain possession? The ground can't cause a fumble, all that stuff.
Yep. The catch rules in the NFL are baffling.
Ask a 2-year-old if he caught it.
Yeah, that's what it should be. Hobson now is going to keep it as they sweep to the right. Flag flies. As for the moment, it's a first down, but I have a feeling this one's coming back, as holding on the edge there especially is usually pretty easy to call.
A lot of that just has to do with, was there some jersey being pulled? Did you see arms? A lot of times if you're a defender getting held, you'll kind of throw your arms out there and sort of, dramatize the fact that you were held and let them know, hey, pull that flag out of your pocket there, ref.
When I always think of dramatics, I usually think of soccer.
Right.
A lot more than football. The guy goes down. It looks like he's in so much pain. As soon as a yellow card comes out, he pops back up and is running around.
Well, NBA has kind of been that way over the last 5-10 years as well.
Yeah, they kind of got flop rules now, don't they?
I love that. You fine the players for flopping.
Good. They have that in hockey, too. It's called embellishment.
What a great call, embellishment.
I love it. Hobson's going to keep it once again. This time he's going to try the left side. Good pursuit and a fumble. The ball came out, and this time the ground did not cause the fumble. The Panthers did, and they recovered.
Wow, what a heads-up play if you're the Panthers. You're taught to wrap up the ball carrier, but strip at it or punch at it, and we see it right there as he's going on the ground. Did it come out before he touched the ground? Well, they don't have replay at the high school level, so.
Well, we took a look at it, and it looked like it was Logan Ackerman right there stripping the ball out from Hobson. So a huge turnover, as right now all the momentum is on the side of the home team.
Absolutely, Logan Ackerman, 28 tackles this year and 3 tackles for loss, and that would count as his first forced fumble.
Give up the middle, and Dylan DiMaggio is running tough here early on. I don't think he has been brought down by the first tackler yet.
Well, what I'm thinking about right now is if you're Stoughton, you're reeling. You thought, all right, let's get our offense out there, run our series, and see if we can, at least march down the field before we have to give it away. And if that ends up happening, and now you're looking at, boy, we just gave the ball away on our side of the field, and Oregon's offense that has got to feel pretty darn good about themselves in this start.
Yeah, the offensive line right now for the Panthers is dictating to this Stoughton defense. Gibbs going to be to Schutte. He's got blockers in front of him, and a good move to get it past the marker, and another Panther first down. By the way, I want to take just a moment to thank A1 Furniture and Mattress once again for being our title sponsor for our Bowl Series. A1 Furniture and Mattress, your premier furniture and mattress store.
I want to thank the people responsible for weather for making it too cold for mosquitoes.
Yeah, no kidding. Last week, I don't know how much bug spray we went through, but it was cans of the stuff, and they were out to get you. Tonight, it's cool, it's breezy, nary a mosquito to be had.
We ran out of spray. Our general manager went to the store to look for it and couldn't find any.
Yeah. A lot of stores that I went to when I was looking for bug spray, yeah, it said they would put signs out on the window, sold out of bug spray. And I was thinking to myself, what a bad idea. At least have you come in the store, walk around, maybe you'll buy something else.
Ask any business owner, getting them in the store is the first part of the battle, and don't even bother coming in, okay?
Don't come in. We don't have what you're looking for.
Silly.
I always think that's odd. So second down and 9 after a short gain on first down. The Panthers on their second drive of the night after the Hobson fumble. Play action now. Is looking long and misses the mark as he had an open receiver, and that was Carter Erickson at about the 10-yard line.
Carter Erickson, 5 receptions for 108 yards and a touchdown this season. Just not quite on the money there, and I think the receiver a little bit behind on the play, but not an on-target throw throw, but we're going to see a lot of that, based on what this offense has done this year, and that's run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Oh, yeah, we can throw it too.
3rd down and 9, and they might have to throw it again. Otherwise, I think if you're Coach Kissling, you might be in 4th down territory right here. 2 plays to get 9 yards.
Stoughton daring Oregon to run it.
Look is throwing, and too long, nearly picked off as he's looking for Erickson once again, but he led him just a little too much. And now on 4th down, Kissling is thinking better of that 4-down strategy and is going to try and pin the Vikings deep.
Yeah, obviously at this level of play with the ball on the 36-yard line, you're not going to attempt a field goal. So, yeah, pin them deep and see what you can make of it. I'm
well,
trying
the
to get
Vikings aren't buying it. They're not sending anybody back. There is no punt returner back deep, but Oregon indeed is going to punt the ball right through the end zone.
Oh, that was pretty close. And
went for the coffin corner, yeah, but you can
John
tell
Clues, by the way, the linebacker on the punt.
Yeah, right through the back of the end zone. Out to the 20 it comes for the Vikings. As with 5:36 left in the first quarter, we'll see their second drive next here on 57 Sports. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't want them. I refuse.
By the way, all of our sideline reports tonight brought to us by Dale's Heating and Air Conditioning, putting your comfort first. And I'm sure we'll get to Jessa Jeremiah in just a bit as she is standing down on the sidelines here tonight on what is a somewhat chilly evening. Walker, the carry, takes it up to the 25-yard line. Good gain on 1st down.
We haven't seen Stoughton break any big plays yet, but what I like from Adam Hobson, the quarterback, is on a fake like that, he's committed to the fake. He continues out the play, and that's so key for some of those secondary defenders who aren't paying attention to that or didn't actually see that whether there's a handoff or not, and it could be the difference between a 1st down or a touchdown.
I used to think it was so cheesy. Sometimes, like, Brett Favre would sell that fake until the cows came home, and you're like, why is he selling it so much? Because it only takes one idiot, one play, and it could change a whole game.
One-handed catch.
2nd down and 5, and wow, pretty
there
good throw, and there's a flag, as that time Carter Erickson was riding the back of Drew Anderson, and I think we should have a pretty good shot of it on the Bachman's Pool Spas and Saunas replay as you take a look at what is pass interference.
27 tackles on the season for Erickson.
Make it 28?
Yeah, that one doesn't count. Unfortunately not.
He was right on the back of the receiver. That was a pretty good throw there by Hobson. And again, Hobson, we were talking about it. He can do both. He can throw, he can run. That's a pretty good athlete right there.
Yeah, that's a really difficult thing for a defense to prepare for is, hey, we have all of our assignments covered, but then there's that extra guy you have to always keep an eye on when, a play breaks down. Is he going to escape the pocket and get some extra yardage on the play?
Conspicuous by his absence is one Brady Shipper, who went off in this game last year. Shipper, by the way, now wears Cardinal and white. 1st and 10, Hobson's going to keep it. No, late pitch there as Walker will get it. Little option play there by the Vikings, and it gets him 5 yards.
Maybe something to do with that very confident attitude of Coach Dan Prohl and trying some different things with this offense as opposed to over the years. Dan Prohl 3-1 against, I guess you can call it, can you call it an alma mater and you graduate from, or maybe it's just former school?
No, you can call it an alma mater, absolutely. I know my high school does. They still send me stuff all the time.
I did some looking into it. I'm like Googling, does that count or no? I don't know about this alma mater stuff when it's not a university.
Well, I went to the same high school that Frank Kaminsky went to, former Badger. So I went to Bennett Academy down in Lisle, Illinois. It's definitely an alma mater, and they send stuff to their alums all the time. So, yeah, you can call your high school your alma mater.
I went to the same high school as Dan Prohl and Dan Kissling.
There you go.
How about that?
Frank Kaminsky and the lead singer of the group Survivor, the guy that sang Eye of the Tiger.
Kidding.
He was a few years before me. I'm old, but I'm not that old. Hobson's going to keep it himself, and he's got a big gainer. Off the left side, inside the 35, and down to the 33-yard line. 17-yard pickup there on the sprint option, and Adam Hobson is showing all his athletic ability on this drive.
You know what? I think this is exactly what Stoughton wanted to do with this drive. Nothing really too fancy yet, and you get some of these fakes in there, and you catch Oregon in a lull for a little bit because it's just been short play after short play, and all of a sudden you break one off like that, and now Oregon's thinking, oh, all of a sudden they're on our 30, so.
Good looking drive this time for the Vikings. This started way back at the 20-yard line as they are looking for the equalizer. 4 wide now, this time for Hobson as he surveys the defense of the Panthers. A lot of time in the pocket once again. Tall throw, but a great catch on the far sideline as that's Nathan Hutcherson reeling it in, and a nice athletic play by Hutcherson to make that catch.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he actually came down with that. I saw some movement with the ball, so we'll get another look at it here. Yeah, I guess that was a catch. Nice call, Rich.
Give it to him. All you need is 1 foot in bounds, which is really all you should ever need for anything to be a catch. I don't like the NFL rule, by the way.
Who are you talking about?
Hobson on another carry, and this time it's the Stoughton Viking offensive line that is dictating. He had a slew of blockers in front of him, and he also has another courtesy forward. First down.
Well, a big part of the success of this offensive line has been Jack Nelson, who, as you mentioned, they have a guy in Cardinal and White and Brady Shipper. Well, Jack Nelson verbally committed to the university and had an offer actually recently in February from Michigan. So he is going to be going to Wisconsin, the top-ranked offensive tackle in the state.
Impressive. Empty set. Hobson's going to keep it on the draw. And a nice job that time by the Panther defense. There wasn't anybody home in the middle, but staying put was Anthony Wilson, who won his matchup up front and kept Hobson to a gain of only 4.
Well, I don't have a track on how many plays this drive has been, Rich, but just chewing up yardage. It's chewing up clock as well, but I think Stoughton might be willing to just have this game be, low scoring and match touchdown for touchdown, and right here an opportunity.
Well, I think this is a nice drive for the Vikings to give their defense a little bit of rest as well, as Hobson with a running back in the backfield on 2nd down and 5, and the pitch is going to go out that way, and nothing doing as Quinn Arnott, just 5'7", 165, and he was planted into the ground by the Panthers.
Well, it was a nice job by the defensive end there, who was on pursuit of the tackle, was kind of deciding whether he wanted to go inside or outside, and it caused some indecision in the runner and ended up going for minimal yardage.
3rd down now and 4. So a short play right here for the Vikings. Let's see what they dial up. And this is where it's difficult because Hobson can pull this down and run with it. Plenty of time once again. Boy, Hobson's had all day, and he throws an interception. Great zone defense as the Panthers intercept the pass in the end zone. A flag to boot, as I think there was a face mask on that, as Matt Kissling, the safety, comes through with a big play.
Well, if you saw, Stoughton has the extra running back in there to block to give extra time for Hobson. Hobson didn't see Kissling sitting there in the backfield ready to get the interception and hauls it in, and it's a heroic type of drive-saving play by the Panthers.
Kissling, yeah, great job of just stepping in front of that pass. As Hobson, boy, you couldn't have asked for more time in the pocket, and it was almost a situation where, hey, if nobody's open with his kind of speed, maybe you just pull it down and run, but he tried to force one into the end zone, and he led his receiver a little too much, and a perfect job by Kissling to not only get the interception, but get a good return, then get the face mask on top of it. And wow, great field position for the Panthers.
What a killer if you're Stoughton right now. You've got to think all the clock we chewed up, all the yardage, all the effort on that drive wasted in the red zone.
First down, DiMaggio up the middle, and that's the first time where he's really gotten absolutely nothing on that. Good job by that Viking defense, who right now has got to be on their heels. That's 2 turnovers in the first quarter by the Vikings.
The Panthers are just licking their chops right now, smelling blood in the water. They've only won 3 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams, and records be damned. I mean, it's Stoughton holding a 9-8 edge in this series since 2002, so pretty even in the past. But as of recent years, Oregon has been on the losing end of this series and looking to end things on homecoming tonight.
Option set here as the give is coming back the other way, and near first down yardage on his first carry of the night is Ryan McCorkle. So McCorkle, just a sophomore, gets his first carry, and yeah, it does move the sticks.
Well, I was looking at the week 6 meeting a year ago between these two teams at Stoughton for their homecoming. Oregon with the multiple formation offense with the guards pulling and misdirection, and they continue that here tonight, and it's led to a lot of big plays for the Panthers.
Panther crowd excited about the score at the end of the first quarter. 7-0 Oregon, as you are watching the Badger South Bowl presented by A1 Furniture and Mattress here on 57 Sports.
What a game so far.
Just about time for the second quarter here in our Badger South Bowl homecoming for the Panthers here tonight. Oregon hosting Stoughton. Rich Reynolds along with Eric Rogers, and we have got great seats for this one. And those 2 turnovers by the Vikings so far, killer through 12 minutes.
You know who's really happy about that? Coach Dan Kissling.
Absolutely.
His team has not had a lot of success since Dan Prawl took over the Stoughton program, and he's feeling like, yeah, I'm going to prove my dominance here tonight. Our guys are up to the task.
Keon Schutte with the carry on first down, picks up 4 or 5 yards. By the way, I didn't mention it. We had a flag a little bit earlier on. It was brought to us by Co-Bus and Buses. Hey, don't get penalized for passing school buses. When the red lights are a flashing, there is no passing. That's right. Don't do it. Don't be that guy.
There's kids on the line. There's money on the line. There's just a lot of reasons not to do it.
Yeah, just wait a second. It's going to be all right. Back the other way, Schutte got tripped up, I believe, maybe by his own man, maybe by a diving Viking in the form of Cade Spildy. But either way, he is going to move the chains. That's another courtesy Ford first down, and I like the looks of this Panther offense so far tonight.
Well, Panthers coach Dan Kissling, his father Erwin, coached at Oregon High School in the 1960s and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in '92. So plenty of reasons for Dan Kissling to have a lot of good chops as a coach here.
Run blitz, and DiMaggio doesn't care as he tries the left side, and eventually he is going to get swarmed under. And I think that's the adjustment that we might be seeing from the Vikings now, is that they'll start run blitzing, filling in those gaps.
Yeah, that's maybe what you have to do if you're Stoughton, is say, all right, well, you're clearly beating us on the run, so we'll try to stop that, make you throw the ball against us. And we've seen that challenge for the Wisconsin Badgers. I mean, teams dare Wisconsin to throw against them, and that's what Stoughton is going to try to do here against the Panthers.
Yeah, which is a good idea. Not that Nolan Look isn't capable. He just doesn't do a whole heck of a lot of throwing, quite like Hobson does on the other side. This time he is going to throw, and he's going to throw long. Looking out there for Erickson, and a little too long. Good coverage that time by the Vikings, as that'll bring up third down.
Well, I thought the defender, Brooks Empey, might have had a hand on the back of the receiver, but not enough contact for the official to throw the flag. I think I might have had that number incorrect.
Yeah, I think that's Caden Milbauer that was there. No worries.
Either way, yeah, it's a big miss by Oregon, which is now bringing up a 3rd and 9 and another, you would think, passing opportunity.
Yeah, you don't want to be predictable if you are the Panthers, and that's kind of what they are right now is, look, rolling right. He's going to keep it. Running near the 30-yard line, and a flag comes out. It looks like he had the first down anyways, but a late hit out of bounds, and just like that, the Panthers are going to be in the red zone.
Yeah, it was close, Rich, and maybe, I mean, not that that was the intent of the play, but when you're running for it and you're that close to a first down, especially if you're on defense, the last thing you want to do is have a penalty called on you like that and give the ref an easy decision on whether that's a first down or not.
Big pickup right there for the Panthers as they continue this march after the interception, and now that's also basically the second personal foul on the drive. You had the face mask that set it up at the 40-yard line. Now you have this late hit out of bounds. That's 30 hidden yards right there that the Vikings have given up.
When you look at time of possession after this game, when the numbers are officially posted, you're probably going to see that the team with the time of possession is going to win this ball game. Right now, that's Oregon.
At the 15-yard line, and on first down, they try that right side again, and a pretty good pickup right there by Ryan McCorkle. So Coach Kissling not afraid to let the sophomore carry the ball a couple times.
Let me give you a little history lesson, Rich. As an Oregon graduate, homecoming has historically been not a good night. Even though typically you schedule someone easy, I remember it was a big deal in 2005 when Monroe came to town and Oregon beat them. People lost their minds, Rich. So you think they want some of that taste again to beat Stoughton here, a rival no less? That would be huge.
I tell you what, this is a big game, not only because it's homecoming, but because it's two good football teams. It's a give up the middle and a touchdown. Keon Schutte with his second touchdown burst of the night. This comes from 10 yards out, and the Panthers have a 2-touchdown lead.
That's what Stoughton was afraid of, the personal foul. And remember, it was all set up by the interception in the end zone on the other end. So instead of Stoughton tying this game up at 7 points apiece, it's a potentially 7-point swing.
That's huge. The Vikings were going in. Instead, it's the Panthers who put another touchdown on the board. They add the extra point with 9:28 left until halftime. It's all Oregon, 14-0 here on 57 Sports.
Trivia. All right, Rich, we talked about this a little bit before the game, and even in the game we've talked about this. So our trivia question of the night: what 1985 Gatorade Player of the Year played alongside a current Big Ten head coach?
Yeah, I feel bad that I know the answer now. I don't even get a
I know.
chance to guess. You know.
So for those who don't know.
Yeah, that's a very good question. It's brought to us by League Trivia. Team and league-oriented pub trivia. Play with yourself or with the team for individual nightly up to $100 prizes and enormous tournament prizes up to 10 grand. That's League Trivia. And a nice wind-aided boot there as a pretty brisk breeze blowing out of the north helped that one go right through the back of the end zone. And the Vikings go on offense once again. 3 drives, no points, 2 turnovers. The Vikings got to turn this around quickly.
The good teams take advantage of those turnovers and those opportunities. And right now, Oregon is proving that, you know, despite a couple losses on the schedule so far, granted against tough teams, we've got another tough team tonight and an opportunity to get a big win against a team that's on blemished record so far. And for Stoughton, you're just trying to hold your head above water and not let the Panthers give you your first loss.
Vikings looking to turn it around as a jet sweep there, and Hutcherson doesn't get very far. This Oregon defense has been very disciplined so far.
That's exactly the word I would choose to describe that, Rich. They stay in their lanes. They're not over pursuing, and as I mentioned for John Clues, the linebacker, number 32 there, they rarely take missteps. So when they're seeing what's happening, they're not committing overly to, you know, is it going to be a fake? Is it, misdirection? Do I know what I'm seeing here? They've watched a lot of film.
Good look at Hobson. Yeah, excuse me. Good look at Hobson there as he's going to give it to Walker. Walker has some running room. Had a defender on him, but it didn't matter as Dwight Walker is going to have a first down. Good, hard run by the tailback.
Well, part of that has to do with Jack Nelson. I mean, when you got a lineman who is 6'7", 270 pounds, and just a junior, I mean, he's going to give you plenty of room on those runs.
And we will head back to the action. Actually, you can keep it up on the split screen as you watch Walker. This time, excuse me, Hutcherson. Where's that Walker? I'm going to go with Walker as he picks up some good yardage on first down, as we'll send it down to Jessa Jeremiah, who is standing by with our first sideline report of the night. Go for it, Jessa.
So we are enjoying ourselves here. Thanks to Dale's Heating and Air, we're going to take a break with a sideline report. And I've got some important folks here that are taking a minute with us from the game. Brian Bussler is the superintendent, and Jim Kleiner is here as well, principal here at Oregon High School. Thanks for taking a minute with us, guys.
Thanks. Good to be here.
I want to highlight a few things about the school, starting with you, Jim. We talked before the break a little bit about the semifinalists. You have 2 National Merit semifinalists. Talk to us about that.
Julie Bull and Marissa Zuntel are our National Merit semifinalists, and we're really excited. They're wonderful, well-rounded kids who work really hard. Our student body is really active and involved in the schools, and that's one of the hallmarks of being an Oregon Panther. 67% of our kids are involved in clubs and activities. We have almost 50 different clubs at Oregon High School. We had a club fair this past week, which was great. 46% of our kids are involved in interscholastic activities, and then many are involved in outside activities. And so it is a wonderful, supportive community, and our student body is incredibly active.
Almost 100% graduation rate. We've got to brag on that.
We're working on getting every bit of that 100% through. We've got wonderful kids and a supportive community, and we're thankful that we have the opportunity to work with such great kids every day.
I want to talk to Brian as well. I'm going to sneak between you. This is Brian Bussler, the superintendent. And let's start by talking about the tremendous support of this community, and showcased here by how many folks are in the stands.
Yes, we've lived in the community for a number of years, and our parents and community have been very supportive. They come out to our student events, whether it's at the elementary, middle school, or high school. And at a night like tonight on homecoming, it really brings out some extra special energy. And we are delighted to have beautiful weather and to have such a great crowd supporting our young people.
You bet. It is a nice night. Got a nice breeze. The guys up in the box mentioned it keeps the mosquitoes away.
Yes.
We'll take it. But along those same lines, the stands are full, which is good, but there's some overcrowding here to address as well.
Yes, it sort of reminds me of one of our challenges and also a great opportunity. As a community, we're growing by almost 2,000 students in the next 10 years, and we've started to see that already. Our elementary schools, while they're outstanding, we also need a classroom for every student. And over the next several years, while we're overcrowding now, we're going to be overcrowded and out of space in a short period of time. And that brings us to a really important project for our community this November. We have a referendum that's the byproduct of a community task force that studied the issue for us for almost 18 months. They brought their recommendation to our school board, and our school board unanimously approved a proposal for our community to build a new K-6 elementary school, which will help alleviate overcrowding at our elementary schools as well as our intermediate school, which is a 5th and 6th grade school.
Excellent. Well, congratulations, and congratulations on all the support. Obviously a great community and a great school. Again, this is Brian Bussler and Jim Kleiner. Thanks for taking a minute with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll get back to the game. Thanks so much, Dale's Heating and Air, for the sideline report.
And thank you, Jessa, as well as Dwight Walker on the carry, breaking tackles and carrying. Panthers with him to the 20-yard line. A pickup of 20, that off the heels of a 16-yard game by Hobson. And I tell you what, the Vikings, not only is it a good drive, this is an up-tempo drive. They picked up the pace on this one.
Well, interesting to note when you look at what Hobson has done this year, passing the ball, and he's 3rd in the conference in passing yardage. But they're running the ball on this drive and having a lot of success.
Not this time, though, as Walker barely able to get back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a half yard. But one thing, you know, the Vikings, you said how deliberate they were on their last couple of drives. Not this time. Coach Prahl has kind of picked it up here a little bit, and maybe they're just trying to change the whole feel of this game. Second and 9 now, and 3 wide for Hobson against what has been a very stout Panther defense so far. Little read option, that RPO kind of play, if you will, short gain, and 3rd and long now for the Vikings.
So you would think maybe this would be a passing down, Rich, and Stoughton hasn't really been content to throw the ball so far in this quarter, especially. They have aired it out a couple of times, but certainly not as much as we've seen in this season.
Yeah, we thought we'd be seeing a lot more of that, as again, Hobson's completion percentage is one thing you don't normally see from a high school quarterback. They're usually in the 50s, sometimes in the 40s. He's got a pretty good one.
And he's thrown the ball 109 times, by the way, so it's not like he's just a guy who's thrown it 15, 20 times in the year.
3rd down and 6. Good pocket once again, and a pretty good throw, but even better coverage by Carter Erickson. Got his hands up at the last second. I thought I was going to be calling a touchdown. Instead, it's now 4th and 6.
Yeah, he turned his head around at the last second and caught sight of the ball, and yeah, you're right, Hobson had the defender beat on that throw all the way. So now, do we see the field goal unit come on, or do we go for it? It does appear we'll see a field goal attempt.
Cade Spildy is the field goal kicker, and he has a pretty good leg, but he's going to be kicking into the wind on this one. The ball's going to be spotted at the 23-yard line. So a 33-yard field goal attempt for Spildy from the right hash.
Just his 3rd attempt on the year.
Good snap, good hold. Wow, great kick, but too far left.
Wow.
As it looked like he might have had it, but it lost steam, and it might have been because of the wind knocking it down. That northerly breeze keeps a big old goose egg on the board for the Vikings. We'll see the Panthers offense next here on 57 Sports.
Hey, my mic got quieter, and I could hear you the entire. All right, Rich, we had the trivia question answer coming up here. We had the question last time around, what 1985 Gatorade Player of the Year, played with a Big Ten head coach, that'd be Dan Kissling, played with UW's Paul Christ in 87 and 88. Dan Kissling did pretty darn good on his own, and he also had 4 years of Badgers. He was 26.7 yard average on kick returns as well, so a nice triple threat there.
Yeah, and both of them also former teammates of our colleague, Mark Martinez, who's going to be calling the game a little bit later on in the season with you.
Nice tie-in.
So, next month, yeah, Martinez, a backup quarterback back then for the Badgers, who, by the way, in the 80s, I know a lot of people don't realize this, the Badgers weren't very good back then.
What? No, you're right. I mean,
it's true.
anybody
Most people don't remember a time when it was like that.
Certainly the majority of the people in this stadium don't, because a lot of these people, students here tonight, and growing up, the Badgers, the Packers, all good, and a loss is a rarity.
The 80s, because the Badgers didn't make a bowl game in the entirety of the 70s, made a bowl game in 82 as Look is going to be able to complete a pass, and a good move there, and still running down the field on a big gainer is Jack Hoffley with the catch, and a huge first down there on 3rd and 5. It is a gain of 35 yards. Look to Hoffley.
Wow, 35-yard reception. He has 36 yards on the entire season coming into tonight, receiving-wise. Mostly gets his play on the defensive side of the ball, but showing some speed and agility to continue to rack up those yards after catch.
I digress. The 82 Independence Bowl was played between the University of Kentucky as another look first down.
Is that a
near
lineman
the 25-yard line.
That's a big boy.
Big old number 86. That's Gabe Pearson, also a sophomore, 6'1", 220.
Yeah, these players are getting bigger and bigger, and it's funny when you think about when you were a senior in high school and what the freshmen looked like, and boy, now you look back on it and these athletes on the field are just freaks.
Yeah, it's been a while since I was a senior in high school, while enough that I remember the 82 Independence Bowl and the Badgers making it. And the Badgers
keep trying.
It was a huge deal that they made this bowl game. The quarterback back then, because it broke a streak, they went to the 63 Rose Bowl with Pat Richter was on that team, and that was a huge deal. The 82 Independence Bowl, the Badgers were quarterbacked by Randy Wright, who went on to quarterback the Packers.
That's right.
Yeah,
that is right.
Yeah, good stuff right there as the Panthers are driving, and we are sending it down to Jessa Jeremiah for a sideline report.
So we are down here on the sidelines enjoying ourselves. We've got some Stoughton Vikings here. The cheerleading squad is joining us thanks to Dale's Heating and Air. I'm going to read who I have in front of me, but Taylor and Jenna, who are next to me, are the coaches. We've also got the junior captain and the senior captain we're going to get to in a second, Ruby and Maddie. First, tell us a little bit about this team.
Well, we're an 11-person squad, and we travel to all the away games, and we're at every home game, and we're just there to be our team's biggest supporter.
And a little bit of a younger team, I understand, this year.
Yeah, so out of our 11 cheerleaders, we only have 5 returners, so it's been a year of building and growing and learning new things as a team.
Well, good for you guys. I'm going to get to your captains here. Maddie, what is it that you enjoy about being part of the Stoughton Vikings cheerleading team?
I really like the team aspect and like being a family with like everyone else. It's really nice to like have a second family to depend on, I guess.
Seems like you have a close-knit team. Anything you're looking forward to? This is Ruby, another captain.
Well, I'm really looking forward to a lot of things, but homecoming is something I'm really excited for, and senior night especially.
Yeah, especially being here at somebody else's homecoming, you get kind of pumped up for your own, which is coming up soon, so that'll be nice. And here's the fun part. We've got a cheer to take you back to the game.
Formation.
Here they go. They're going to give us a cheer. I'm going to move over. If you guys can kind of come behind me so they can see you. There you go. Perfect.
Oh my God, guys. Okay, ready? Ready. Power, muscle, might. We've got the power to fight. P-O-W-E-R, power, muscle, might. We've got the power to fight.
Well, it doesn't get any better than that. We got the Stoughton Vikings over here on the Oregon Panthers side. Such a great rivalry, so we appreciate them hopping over here. Thanks so much for taking a break with us. Thanks to Dale's Heating and Air. Back to the game.
And just in time for a timeout, the Stoughton Vikings are going to take it as we got to see their cheerleaders. They haven't had much to cheer about tonight. 14-0 Panthers and Oregon on the doorstep. $1:39 till halftime. We'll be back after this on 57 Sports. Oregon Panthers up by 14 and looking for more as they are on the 5-yard line. It is a 3rd and 2, so they can get a first down without a touchdown. And I tell you what, if the Panthers go in here, the Vikings are in big trouble in half number 2.
You got to think so, but I mean, when you believe in your team and what Dan Prohl has preached so far.
As it is going to be Look taking it himself, gets by the defender and runs it into the end zone. Touchdown Panthers, a 20-0 lead on a Geeks Mania arcade touchdown. And the Mania right now is on the sideline, the packed sideline of the Oregon Panthers. This crowd is a capacity crowd and they're in full throat, and why shouldn't they be? It's all Oregon.
A lot has changed the Oregon of old, and they're a team that's kind of been one of those, middle of the road at best kind of teams, but the culture has changed a little bit. You've seen a lot of standout players on this team in recent years, and right now you're up 21-0 on a rival.
Wow, on homecoming, this crowd absolutely loves it. I tell you what, both sidelines are packed. overflow on both sides, but the Stoughton fans have been sitting the entire time, and that's because their team's down 21-0. We'll come back for the conclusion of half number 1 here on 57 Sports. You know, so far this season, we've had nothing but one-sided games. And tonight, unexpectedly, is another one. And if you would have told me one team was going to be up 21-0, I don't think I would have picked the Panthers.
No, I mean, you got to say that's probably the way most people would think. You've got a Stoughton team that's undefeated.
As Dwight Walker trying to provide some excitement. Good return by the senior tailback all the way out to the 45-yard line, and maybe some hope yet here for the Vikings. 55 yards to pay dirt, 2 timeouts, and a high-powered offense. They need to get some points.
I was thinking the same thing, Rich. 55 seconds, minute 24, 2 timeouts. You can easily, well, I don't want to say easily, but you can certainly get 7 points before halftime.
Yeah, and especially in high school football, the clock will stop after each and every first down as it's a Panther timeout. Why don't we step aside once again? Oh, we have a sideline interview. Okay, Jessa is going to be down there once again, although I don't see her interviewing anybody. So, okay, why don't we take a break? 21-0 here on 57 Sports.
Huh. She told.
Buck 24 until the first half, 21-0. All Oregon so far, but the Vikings now looking to get some points here before the first half. 1st and 10 after a good return by Walker. Walker the lone setback as Hobson dropping back. Blitz coming, lets it go as he was crushed, and he overshoots Hutcherson. Wow, big hit on Hobson. He got that ball away, and that was a dangerous throw.
And if your name's Clay Matthews, that's roughing the passer. But no, that was certainly a clean hit by Clayton Haggerty, the linebacker and running back. He drilled the quarterback Hobson, taken to the turf, and luckily for him, he was able to get up, and after the completion, he'll continue on 2nd down.
4 wide once again. 2nd down, blitz coming again. This time it's picked up, and that blitz pickup allows a 1st down toss as Hobson was on the money as he hits Drew Anderson for the 1st down.
Yeah, Oregon has been sending guys on the blitz, but what they haven't been doing is any of those double A gap blitz, none of the stunting kind of crisscrossing types of blitzes, so pretty much a straight on one-man blitz, but Stoughton able to pick it up on the last play.
Blitz coming again as Hobson airs it out for Hutcherson. He threw to the inside. Hutcherson was on the outside, and that could have been another interception as this Vikings offense, especially the passing game, looks a little bit off tonight.
Right, I was thinking the exact same thing, Rich. I mean, I don't know if it's the change in the weather, the outcome of the game as far as how it's been played so far. Oregon hasn't exactly been passing the ball very well either, so I mean, maybe this is just what it means to be an Oregon-Stoughton rivalry. These games are just going to be smash mouth, run the ball football.
2nd and 10 now. Another blitz coming. Again, the pass going to go to Anderson, and again, Anderson's going to have a 1st down. Hey, take what the defense gives you. Every time they blitz from that spot, they're vacating that area, and Anderson's just filling it.
Yeah, it's the 2nd time they sent an extra man on the blitz that time on the far sideline, and it allowed that pass out in the flats and puts you up for a more manageable 3rd down.
And now Coach Prahl's going to take a timeout. I thought that was a 1st down, at least near 1st down yardage, and Coach Prahl talking with the refs as well, but they mark him about 2 yards shy, so I'm not sure if he had a knee down or why they spotted it where they spotted it, because where he fell was at about the 30-yard line.
We also have a discrepancy in the down marker saying 3rd down. The scoreboard says 2nd and 10.
Now there's 12 minutes on the clock, and everybody is just a little bit off. So, yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but it really looked like it was a Vikings 1st down. Instead, it's going to be 3rd down and short as the scoreboard operator trying to catch up with everybody else. There we go. 52 seconds, 3rd and 2 is where we're at. Hobson in the pocket, throws, nice catch, no, incomplete.
Wow.
As Anderson dove for that one with the ball hit the ground. It's going to bring up 4th and 2, and the Vikings will go for it.
And you would have thought that would be an easy pickup of a first down. You just have a curl route to the outside, and you catch that thing back shoulder, you get down, you move the chains, clock stops, all is well, but now you have a few seconds gone off the clock, and you're faced with a 4th and 2, and Oregon with an opportunity to shut out the Vikings in the first half.
Crowd starting to make some noise on the Oregon side for their defense. They want to stop them here on this big 4th down and 2. Still 47 seconds left. Time not the issue for the Vikings, but what is an issue is getting that play call in. They'll take a timeout. We'll take it with them. You're watching the Badger South Bowl on 57 Sports.
I would watch for a sideline interview.
Welcome back to the Badger South Bowl, brought to you by A1 Furniture and Mattress. We're going to take a quick break before we send it back to the guys for the second half. I'm joined now by Bob Empey, who's the Assistant Athletic Director. Thanks so much for taking a minute with us.
What a great night, huh?
It sure is. A great night, a great rivalry. We'll get to that in a second. Mel Dow, I understand, is returning from a long trip. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, his son qualified for the World Championships and represented the USA in Slovakia. So it's been great for him and his family, but he just got through customs in Chicago, so he's on his way home.
Excellent. Well, I know he's a proud dad as well as an involved athletic director. Let's talk a little bit about the recognition that Stoughton has gotten from the WIAA. I understand 2 years standing. A big congratulations. Discuss that with us.
Yeah, it's a word of excellence, and we take a lot of pride in developing students with character and student athletes with character. Our academics stand for themselves that are participants in that. It's for myself as a coach and assistant AD, we're humbled by the athletes that we have that are students first. So.
Humbled and a little chilly tonight as we're getting used to the weather. Also, the head wrestling coach, I appreciate you taking a minute with us.
It's an honor. Great 138 rivalry. Great to be on the field tonight.
Great rivalry. We're going to get back to just a few seconds here in this first half, and we'll be back. Thanks so much.
Great wrestling tradition at Stoughton, of course, and they're trying to build on what is a football tradition here now and what has been a tough football go for a while, but last few years Stoughton's been very good, although tonight they're not showing it, down 21-0.
Yeah, Stoughton has struggled in a lot of these key situations, picking up the yardage necessary, a lot of dropped balls. Even on that play a couple plays ago, had an open receiver, dropped it in the flat. The Oregon defender was all kinds of turned around and left him wide open with about 5 yards all around him. And now we're looking at a 3rd and 1, and 19 seconds left before the half, and Stoughton's struggling to get into even field goal range.
By the way, in a cool night like this, you know what's a great thing to do? Head outside, go sit in your sauna. I absolutely love doing that. There's nothing better than getting in one from Bachman's Pools, Spas, and Sauna. Stay warm and boost your immune system this winter with a Hilo infrared sauna. Go ahead, relax. It's Bachman's.
I was going to say hot chocolate. We can get some of that going too.
Yeah,
I'd
that's
say
good.
I don't know if Bachman's Pool, Spas, and Saunas has hot chocolate in their lobby, but if you don't, I would recommend installing that.
Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that.
Get you ready for winter.
3rd and short for the Vikings. 19 seconds. They are now out of timeouts. Hobson with time, throws, has his man. Anderson did a nice job of catching the ball, shaking a defender, and then getting out of bounds. That'll stop the clock with 14 seconds left to go until halftime. And now if you're the Vikings, you think they got to throw towards the end zone.
I don't know what you're doing there if you're the Panther defense. You have a couple yards for a first down. Stoughton has struggled throwing the ball down the field, so why don't you just guard the sideline just past the sticks? Instead, it's an easy first down.
Blitz coming again. Hobson throws it out into the end zone. Too long for his intended receiver, as that was Hutcherson, and he was double covered, as again that blitzer is coming right onto the right side of the offensive line for the Vikings. They're getting a little bit better now, picking it up.
Well, the tough part here, if you're the Vikings, is you have a couple more shots towards the end zone, but if it's either intercepted or you take a sack, this half is over.
Yeah, only 8 seconds left. It might be one play, maybe two, that you can get out of this. We saw Spildy miss from 33 yards. This would be a similar field goal attempt for Spildy if they decide to do that. Little hitch and go, and too long and out of bounds for Anderson. Now 3 seconds left, and we'll see what Coach Prahl decides. If he'll bring Spildy back out there or if he's going to go for it. It looks like the field goal team is coming on.
Yeah, it's a tough call either way, but he definitely had the distance on that last kick. It was just wide, so you give him another opportunity, another crack at it. Worst case scenario, you're down 21-0.
Great job by this Panther defense as they are able to hold the Vikings out of the end zone here in the first half. We'll see, though, if Stoughton can get some points. Hobson puts it down, kick is up, and I'm going to wait for the refs this time as that one just got over the crossbar. The Vikings will get some points here in the first half as we finish up the first half. 21-3, Oregon leads Stoughton. It's time now for our halftime show and Jessa Jeremiah.
That's right. Thanks so much. We have a fabulous halftime show for you that is coming up after the break, brought to you by Prairieland Towing. We've got the Oregon cheer team, we have the marching band, we've got the Palms dance team going to be out on the field. We've also got some great interviews for you. In fact, this plaque right here is for our Community Student Leader Award that's brought to you by Dental Health Associates. We're going to meet that outstanding student. That and lots more coming up on your Prairieland Towing halftime show. This is the Badger South Bowl. Stay right there. Welcome back to the Badger South Bowl. If you are just tuning in, this is our Prairieland Towing halftime show, and we've got the Stoughton Vikings here at Oregon Panthers. The Panthers dance team is out on the field right now performing. We've got some great performances for you during halftime. And Oregon's Pom/dance team. So these are the Poms and the dance team. As you can see, they're performing one of their dance numbers right now. On the field, we've got Kaylee Tisch, who is the head coach leading the team. You might not be able to see her as she is sidelined there. Team member is Deja Smith, Claire Stevens, Alicia Blatterman, Veronica Kondkava, hope I'm not pronouncing that wrong, Lauren Lale, Nadia Pierce, Sophie Karechet, and Chloe Jacobson make up this team. These guys practice really hard, and this is their big performance of the night, homecoming here at Oregon High School. For those of you just tuning in, this is the A1 Furniture and Mattress Badger South Bowl. This is halftime, brought to you by Prairieland Towing. That's the Palms dance team, and we're going to take a little break and come back to you with more Prairieland Towing halftime show here at the Badger South Bowl, so stick with us. Welcome back to the A1 Furniture and Mattress Badger South Bowl. This is halftime, brought to you by Prairieland Towing. Some great performances by Oregon High School this evening. We just watched the Palms dance team perform. They did a great job out on the field. Now you're watching the Oregon cheer team. This team is led by head coach Kelly Pierce. On the field, we've got Chloe, Grace, Ariana, Gabby, Bailey, Destiny, Anika, Lauren, Leanne, Aaron, and Paige. So a nice big cheer team out performing tonight. This is a packed crowd. The stands are full. We had superintendent out here earlier talking a little bit about overcrowding here at the school. They are going to be adding some schools to the district, and you can see it here this evening as we've got full stands. Of course, it is homecoming tonight. You're watching the Oregon cheer team on the field right now. In case it wasn't evident by the large Oregon letters that they've got. These guys are great, practicing all summer long and doing a wonderful job out here this evening. They're right next to me as I'm reporting from the sidelines, so I can see them pretty much all evening supporting their team, cheering on the crowd, getting them pumped up. Again, this team is led by Coach Kelly Pierce. This is the Badger South Bowl. Again, if you're just finding us, we've got Stoughton Vikings here at Oregon, and we're going to come back to you with more of our halftime show brought to you by Prairieland Towing, so please stick around. Welcome back to the Badger South Bowl. This is halftime brought to you by Prairieland Towing. We have had quite the night out here so far. It's a little bit chilly, which is welcomed because the mosquitoes have thankfully subsided a little bit for us, getting used to the cold. We have the marching band coming out onto the field. Quite the halftime we've got here at Oregon High School. We had the opportunity so far to watch the Palms dance team perform a dance number. That team is led by Kaylee Kish. We also just saw the Oregon cheer team led by Kelly Pierce. And we're about to see the marching band as they are lining up on the field. You can see how windy it is by their hats. The wind is blowing tonight. They're going to get started in a minute, and again, this is Oregon's homecoming, so the crowd is pretty pumped up. The stands are packed. Stoughton Vikings side is pretty packed as well, as this has been quite the rivalry for the two teams over the years. The feeling on the sidelines has been that it is such a friendly rivalry. The two teams really enjoy competing against each other, of course in football, but also in other sports. The cheerleaders are joining them on the field. Again, you're watching the Badger South Bowl. This is our Prairieland Towing halftime show. As we mentioned, the marching band is here, firing up, getting ready to go. The cheer team is joining them as well. We're going to catch a little bit of their performance. Again, the Oregon cheer team led by Coach Kelly Pierce. You're watching Chloe, Grace, Ariana, Gabby, Bailey, Destiny, Anika, Lauren, Leanne, Aaron, and Paige performing right in front of the marching band there, as they are in formation, providing some entertainment for this little bit chilly group out here tonight at Oregon. Marching band doing a nice job out here this evening. And the cheer team joining them right in front. You are watching the Oregon Panthers perform during their homecoming here at halftime, brought to you by Prairieland Towing. As we get back into the game, we'll get back to this gentle, friendly rivalry that Stoughton Vikings have with the Oregon Panthers. I've got some interviews for you coming up too. I'll kind of preview for you. Right now I've got some Stoughton Vikings students that are standing next to me. You can't see them yet, but you will see them and hear them in a minute. Have a feeling they've got some school spirit to share with us. And we are also going to be giving away the Student Community Leader Award. That award is sitting in front of me here. It's brought to you by Dental Health Associates. An outstanding student is going to be the recipient of this award. I'm excited to introduce you to her. She has been kind of leading the student section in some cheers. She's very involved in the student body and also, of course, has some bragging rights in the academics field. So I'm excited to introduce you to her a little bit later. Right now, we're going to take a break from our Prairieland Towing halftime show. We're going to come back with you in just a moment with some exciting students who are from Stoughton Vikings. Stick with us for more of the Badger South Bowl here during halftime, brought to you by Prairieland Towing. All right, you're joining us back here for the halftime show brought to you by Prairieland Towing as the Badger South Bowl. We've saw a lot of Oregon Panther activity out on the fields. We thought we'd bring you some Stoughton Vikings. These are some students from the student section. Thanks for joining us for a minute.
Yeah, I'm Jack. We choose our theme because we have our student body select on Twitter, and the whatever poll wins, that's what we do for every home game or an away game.
So what's the blackout component?
We were going to do blackout tonight, but it's Oregon's homecoming, so we couldn't do blackout because they'll be dressed in that, and we didn't want to support their team.
We did a good job switching up the theme. You look nice and warm in your neon. Why do you guys choose to come out and support your team during an away game?
Because, the boys are 5-0. We're just here for a good time, not a long time, so go Stoughton.
And, of course, I have a feeling you guys have a lot of school spirit. Who's got more school spirit tonight? I guess that answers the question. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more of our Prairieland Towing halftime show. This is the moment we get to give away that Student Community Leader Award. I'm looking forward to it, so stay with us here at the Badger South Bowl. Welcome back to more of our Prairieland Towing halftime show. This is the opportunity I have been looking forward to as we get to give away an award for an outstanding student community leader. I'm joined by Emily, and Principal Jim is back with us, Jim Pliner with Oregon. Thanks so much for taking another minute with us.
Absolutely. Excited.
So I'm excited to highlight somebody like this because in every school there's a lot of great leaders that it takes to really sort of step up and be there for their student body. Emily is an outstanding one. Why is that?
She's the epitome of a student leader, positive, and she engages the entire community and gets people involved. She's our student liaison to the Oregon School Board and is also the executive president to the Student Council.
And Emily, I'm going to step next to you here and just ask you a little bit more about what that entails. Executive president, I high-fived you on the break because I think that's so cool. What do you do?
So it's a lot of planning for different events around the school. So this weekend is actually our homecoming. So right now our homecoming football game, and today we had our pep assembly. So plan that all out, plan for the dance, decorate for the dance, and other events throughout the school. So dances, food drives, breakfast, stuff like that. So it's just a lot of planning and getting the school involved.
Well, you're going to need a hand because I'm about to present you an award. Congratulations, not only on getting this award, but also on being such a leader in your school. That's a really outstanding thing to do. On behalf of Dental Health Associates, 57 Sports, and of course, thanks to Jim and the school here at Oregon, I'm going to present you with the Student Community Leader Award. Congratulations. Thanks so much, Jim. Thanks, Emily. Thank you for watching. We're going to be back with more football. We'll be back with our Badger South Bowl brought to you by A1 Furniture and Mattress. Stick with us.
They're lining up for the kickoff to start the second half of the Badger South Bowl, presented by A1 Furniture and Mattress. Along with Eric Rogers, I am Rich Reynolds, and here we go. The Vikings down by 18 to start the second half as Hutcherson will take the kickoff just past the 30-yard line, and here we go for the second half. And Eric, what do you expect to see from the Vikings here in half number 2?
Well, I'll take a page out of what you told me at halftime, and that's how important it was for the Vikings to get that field goal before half. You get the ball back now. You go in favor of the win. So those passes that Hobson's throwing is just a little bit wobbly. And so now when you're going to be throwing the ball, you should feel a little bit more confident. You're going to have a tight spiral, so don't be surprised if you see Stoughton throwing.
Yeah, if there's one thing that'll really kill a passing game, it is the wind. It's not the rain, it's not the snow, but it is the wind. So Hobson will keep it on the ground to start the second half and take it past the 40-yard line and get a courtesy Ford first down. At courtesy Ford, it's courtesy that counts.
All the team's leading rusher, Rich, he goes, pulls the ball down, calls his own number, picks up 11 yards, moves the chains. They don't ask how, they ask how many.
And they line up quickly, do the Vikings here, almost like it's a 2-minute drill, down by 18 to start the second half. This time on that RPO, it goes into the breadbasket of Dwight Walker, who picks up 5 on first down.
I think if I'm the Vikings, I'm saying, let's look at what we did after we went down 7-0 and threw that interception. Let's just take that steady momentum, that kind of a drive, chew up yardage. Don't worry about hitting the big play. And then at the end, you'll execute this time.
By the way, we don't have a very close score right now, but this is a first for us this season. We do not have a running clock to start the second half. That means you and I are going to actually have to put in a full second half's worth of work, Eric.
Man, I was enjoying getting paid, and no, I'm just kidding. No, it's certainly good to have those games where it's competitive, and we said this last half, and that's when you look at the score right now. You might have thought the team leading would be the Vikings, and I'm sure they feel that same way. It's like we should be up 21-3 right now, and right now they have some work to do.
A lot of people in this capacity stadium did feel that exact same way. In fact, we ran into a former colleague of ours during halftime, Joe DeGuano, who we both worked with at Midwest Family Broadcasting. His son plays for Oregon. Well, not so much this season. He's out with an injury. But Joe was even saying he was surprised by what was happening so far this season.
I mean, when you're a guy like Joe who's coached these guys since they were in 5th grade, he said, and now they're at this level playing this way, and you're thinking, man, Oregon may not have the most talented team or the most talented players on the roster, but right now they're just playing better as a unit than Stoughton is, and Stoughton just trying to make up some lost ground.
A lot of heart for the Panthers out there right now, and right now that heart is working to an 18-point lead with the Vikings here on the opening drive of the second half, and they're doing it on the ground. A nice job by Hobson on these RPOs, either giving it to Walker or taking him himself. What's the read? What is he looking for in an RPO?
You had that run-pass option, whether or not the defender is going to bite, what's the secondary giving you, what kind of options you have, and a lot of times you'll see the quarterback actually put the ball into the breadbasket of the runner before pulling it back, as opposed to sometimes a fake where the running back doesn't actually touch the ball, and you're just looking for any option of whether or not the defenders are giving you a run as the quarterback or a pass.
Wow, good, strong run by Dwight Walker, shedding tacklers and spinning ahead for a 10-yard gain and a courtesy Ford first down. And there is a Cobusson flag that is out on the field right now. We'll see what that is, as it ended up kind of in the backfield of the Vikings, usually in the area of holding. And a personal foul? No, it goes against Oregon, and a personal foul against the Vikings. All right, offsetting penalties, no harm, no foul. Didn't see what happened there.
Well, a lot of times what will happen with that is it'll just redo the down, but they are going to give Stoughton the first down.
Yeah, so it
then
had to happen
call
after
offsetting.
the play, yeah.
Yep.
So it's going to be 1st and 10. The ball's at the 16-yard line. The Vikings right now moving the ball down. This drive started at their own 30-yard line. So good-looking drive for the second half here. What the Vikings need to do is finish it. This is where they've stalled out a couple of times so far tonight. One ended up in a field goal. One was a missed field goal. And Hobson loses the football, and there was another one of those RPOs as he tried to get it to Walker. Not sure who wanted to take it. The ball ends up on the ground, and the ref's now trying to figure out who got it. And by body language, I'm kind of guessing that the Vikings have maintained possession. Otherwise, that defense would be pretty geeked.
Yeah, how dangerous has this ball security been here tonight? And what Stoughton has done so well on this drive is, whether you call it boring or what have you, but they've taken the Oregon crowd out of it. You would not know that these bleachers are not only full but overflowing.
Absolutely. Already 2 turnovers for the Vikings tonight, very nearly their 3rd one of the game, as Walker takes it to the 10-yard line. And that is going to bring up 3rd down for the Vikings, and a big 3rd down right here. Again, they've really struggled in the red zone so far tonight.
We've taken 3 minutes and change off the clock on this drive, and you haven't scored anything yet, but what you have done is continue to show that you can move the football, and Oregon hasn't given too much resistance so far on this drive, and right now kind of on their heels.
Stoughton needs a touchdown in the worst way. 3rd down and 4 from the 10-yard line. Hobson calls out the signals, gives it to Walker. He's going to try the left end, gets by the 5-yard line and into the end zone. Dwight Walker scores the first touchdown of the night for the Vikings as he goes off the left side, and just like that, Stoughton is back in this football game.
Well, what I was watching for on that play, before the ball was snapped, I thought this might be a passing play. You had 2 receivers on the left side. One of them wasn't covered, and I thought maybe he's going to go to a fade to the corner of the end zone. Instead, he ends up blocking a key block by Gabe Pearson, the tight end, actually, on that play. Ends up resulting in a score for Stoughton, and this game gets a little bit closer.
Connor Knopf as well, number 40 out there with a great block to seal it as Walker's able to take it into the end zone for 6. Spildion now for the extra point, and that is going to be good. So, brand new score with 8:19 left in the third quarter. 21-10 Oregon here on 57 Sports.
Welcome back to the A1 Furniture Badger South Bowl. If you're just tuning in, we've got the Stoughton Vikings here at the Oregon Panthers. It is their homecoming, and so it is appropriate that we introduce you to their cheer team, as they've been doing an excellent job both during halftime and here on the sidelines. I've got Aaron and Lauren who are joining us. Thanks so much for taking a minute. I watched you during halftime. I've been watching you down the way. You're doing a great job. What are you here for tonight?
So the first thing we did was we performed a routine that earlier on today we practiced at the middle school and then at the high school pep assembly. And then we got together with the band and performed a routine to Build Me Up Buttercup. And then we also did the school song.
A busy evening for you, but you guys stay nice and busy. You are looking forward to some upcoming events as well.
Yeah, in a few weeks we'll be starting our choreography, and then we have an array of competitions that we do. One's called cheer dance, and then the other's called stunting, which is pretty exciting, and will just further advance the state.
Awesome. And we've got your coach, Kelly Pierce, in the background. Wave high so they can see you. We're going to perform a cheer for you before we head back to the guys. So I'll let you guys take it away. All right, good job, girls. Go Panthers. And we've got some of the students sitting by sideline. We'll get to them in just a minute. I'll head it back to Eric and Rich. Thank you, Dale's Heating and Air, for taking a break with us.
And thank you, Jessa, as Keon Schutte is wrapped up after a minimal game and on first down. Schutte with 2 touchdowns in the first half, but has been quiet basically after that second score.
Well, this is going to be a key drive for the Panthers. They've been sitting on the sidelines from halftime to the long drive that Stoughton had. Their offense hasn't been on the field, so do they have that momentum carrying over from the first half? We'll find out.
And this is going to be a reverse as McCorkle gets it. It went to Schutte. He gave it back to McCorkle, and a nice job by the Viking defense. They were not fooled on that play as the gain goes out just past the 40-yard line, 3rd down and about 5.
Well, it doesn't take a lot of film watching to find out that Oregon's going to do a lot of funky formations and movement in the backfield with their running backs. So as a linebacker or a defensive end, I'm just saying stick with your assignments. We don't need to be over-aggressive. Don't pursue the quarterback. He's not going to run with it too often. Just got to stay with your guy.
Over pursuit will kill you. You really got to crash if you are on the defensive side for the Vikings as 3rd down.
What do I know?
This is going to be real close. It's going to depend on the spot, but I think that the Panthers got that first down. Schutte got the 45. That was the yard they needed.
Yeah, might be a favorable measurement from the officials there, being that this is at home for them. But either way, it is a first down that moves the chains for the Panthers, and they've got to feel, maybe like there's some success going to be building on this drive. And Stoughton still hasn't really eliminated this run game for the Panthers. And the Panthers, do they have to throw it at some point? We'll find out. That could be a risk.
Give to DiMaggio, had himself a pretty good first half, and he gets 5 yards on first down, just picking his way through the Viking defense as we are back down for another Dale's Heating and Air sideline report. Once again, here's Jessa.
Thanks to Rich and Eric. We heard from the Stoughton Vikings student section, so it's time for the Oregon Panthers to represent. First of all, packed stands tonight, which is awesome to see. It is your homecoming. Why do you guys like coming out and supporting during this night?
Well, my favorite part is just seeing the whole community come together and like all the amazing things that we can do and just cheering for our Panthers.
You guys are doing a good job of cheering. Why do you like to be out here this evening?
It's great to see our friends and our peers out on the field and really support them and make sure that they know we're there to cheer them along.
Yeah. You guys are dressed appropriately, supporting your team. Show us some of your school spirit.
Alrighty. Okay, ready? Okay.
O-R-E! O-R-E! G-O-N! G-O-N! O-R-E-G-O-N!
Awesome. Thanks so much, you guys. We appreciate it. We'll continue to watch and help you guys cheer here on the sidelines. We're going to get back to football, back to Eric and Rich.
And thank you, Jessa. You know, I was just thinking about it after that first down right there, and you see the Oregon logo out on the field. I'm not sure if that's what they intended to do with the Oregon logo, but anyways, I digress. I think if you're not from Wisconsin or not even from South Central Wisconsin, this is probably two towns that are most often mispronounced, Stoughton and
it could
Oregon.
Be Stoughton or something like that, or it's Oregon.
Yeah,
a lot
you
of
get
times.
Oregon a lot.
And as someone who came from Oregon, your duty is to correct people every time.
Well, if you're not from around here, it's actually the state of Oregon. It's
Right.
not the state of Oregon, but it is the city of Oregon. And so, yeah, these two towns often mispronounced, but never duplicated. The Panthers continue to march here, and they have really owned this game because of their offensive line. Great push up front by the Panthers.
Hey, a little history lesson here for you, Rich. I'm not sure how accurate it is because I heard it a long time ago, but the city of Oregon, when it was first, well, I should say village, first settled, was a big exporter of ore. So I think that's where it comes from.
Really? Okay. That makes sense.
And if I'm wrong, well, it sounds good.
All of our ore is gone.
Not anymore. Not here.
Pass by look, and that is incomplete as he had a receiver out in the flats. Pass intended for Jack Hoffley, who had a good catch in the first half and a couple of nice moves. Can't corral that one on third down. Fourth down, and for just the second time here tonight, we're going to take a look at the Panther punt team.
Yeah, I'm a little bit, I don't want to say confused, but I wasn't so sure that was the right call on 3rd and 6 to have a pass play when the running game was working. You switch some things up. Maybe that's a play for 2nd down when you do play action and throw it.
Punt's coming now, and a high punt. This one better than the first one, which ended up going through the end zone, as the Vikings will have a long field ahead of them as the ball will be spotted at the 12-yard line. 4:13 left in the third quarter. Oregon up 21-10 on 57 Sports. Homecoming here for the Panthers. I've actually noticed a few people that have like orange hair dye, and at first I just thought there were like a lot of redheaded people that lived in Oregon.
No, that's tradition, Rich. Come on.
I did not know that. A lot of Ian Gallagher looking people, for those of you that watch the program Shameless here tonight. But yeah, I just thought it was a town that had a lot of gingivitis.
Well, you know, there are some of those Irish-blooded people around here, but not
They're
the case
everywhere,
here.
Eric. Yeah, exactly. As we're going to take a quick run down to the sideline once again. Here's Jessa.
You may have noticed I have found a friend. This is the Oregon Panther. Gosh, I am pretty chilly out here tonight. It is the first really kind of cold night of the season. I think you have the best outfit in the house. I couldn't agree more. So tonight we've got Stoughton Vikings, of course, here at the Oregon Panther Stadium. Who do you think's going to win this evening? Think the Panthers are going to win? And this has been quite the rivalry over the years, the Stoughton Vikings taking on Oregon Panthers. There's a lot of school spirit here tonight. Got to tell you, the Vikings have a lot of school spirit too. Who's got the most school spirit? You do? You think the Panthers? A quiet Panther here with the sidelines, but a warm one, and I appreciate you taking some time with us. We've been enjoying the game and enjoying your support over here on the sidelines. We're going to get back to that game right now.
And thank you, Jessa. While we were away for a second there, you might have seen it in the split screen, a 28-yard run by Dwight Walker. Half of it was going backwards.
I can't remember the last time I saw that, Rich, and that's just keep those powerful legs moving, and he was probably a little bit surprised he didn't have anyone behind him stopping him.
That was followed up by a 14-yard run by Hobson and now an 8-yard gain by Walker. This Stoughton Viking offense is just gashing the Panther defense here in the second half.
Well, I'm going to be a little bit concerned here if I'm the defensive coordinator for Oregon. That defense has been on the field for a long time.
And another first down as Walker takes it to the 30-yard line. One thing we're seeing now, Oregon's going to have to bring more people into the box. They've been playing with 6 or 7 in the box all night long, and they are doing press coverage as well. And you're wondering, I am at least, when the Vikings might take a shot to Anderson, who's got Carter Erickson basically right in his back pocket.
Well, I'm wondering if the Panthers just aren't really too confident in what their secondary is able to do on those long passes. But again, we haven't seen Hobson be successful throwing the ball anywhere past 15 yards. So maybe that is, like you said, it's an opportunity or a chance to say, we've got to do something different here. We have been giving up yardage this half on the ground all night.
Another RPO, and Hobson almost lost it again as he stumbled down after a gain of just 3 yards. Clock is running. If the Vikings score here, though, the clock really won't be a factor anymore in this football game. The last 10 points have been scored by Stoughton, and it's going to be a carry to, that's not Walker, that is our good friend Quinn Arnott, who didn't get much in the first half, just 1 carry for 1 yard. This time he gets some positive yardage and a pickup of 4. So 3rd down and 3, and a big down and a big first down to get here for Stoughton.
Arnott had 9 carries coming into this game, 80 yards and a touchdown, so we can certainly break it open.
And a flag pre-snap and a false start, and that's huge. A 3rd and 3, yeah, that's a lot easier than 3rd down and 8. And now I think if you're Coach Prohl, you got to start thinking, hey, we might be in the territory here of needing 2 plays to get 8 yards.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm ready to do that, Rich. I mean, this is a good opportunity. Obviously, you've got the momentum on your side. Oregon, their defense hasn't really proven on this drive and the previous drive that they can stop us. However, Oregon's got to feel pretty okay about the ability to create turnovers. So ball security will be at a premium here.
3rd and 8, clock running, $1:20 for the 3rd quarter. 3 wide for Hobson as he surveys the defense. Sets back in the pocket, a lot of time, pump fake. Rolling right, still looking. Hobson throws, incomplete, off the mark. Intended for a diving Anderson right there as Hobson was able to buy himself some time, but a real inaccurate throw forces a 4th down.
And we're going to see exactly which theory they subscribe to, whether it's going to be a punt or going for it. These teams met twice last season, once in week 6 where Oregon fell 30-27. They also met in the first round of the playoffs, which was the first time Stoughton had hosted a playoff game. They won that 28-7 behind 3 touchdowns by Brady Shipper.
Brady Shipper now a Badger, and that means that the Vikings have to do it without him, and they're going to have to do it here in a big 4th and 8 as the Oregon Panther crowd comes alive once again. 4 wide for Hobson. In the pocket, plenty of time, throws too tall for Anderson. Would have been a first down, and he was wide open. And once again, Hobson off the mark for a guy that came in hitting on 64% of his passes here in the season. That's really erratic throwing here tonight.
Well, Drew Anderson, maybe a couple more inches on the jump, and he makes that catch, but it touches your hands. You got to catch it. The defender on that play, or the defensive back, Carter Erickson, had an opportunity to intercept that ball, but maybe wisely or just luckily he dropped it, because that ends up saving you field position, since that was a 4th down play. And again, that counts as the 3rd turnover by this Oregon defense.
Big stop there by the Panthers, and now it is going to be desperation time the next time that the Vikings touch the football. On first down, good gain. As they give that time, let's see, that was McCorkle, and the sophomore is near a first down. Give him 8 yards on that carry.
So another important drive for the Panthers. If they obviously they're going to carry this drive into the fourth quarter. If they can come away with some sort of points here, it puts this game a little bit more pressure on the Vikings, who were in place. It looked like they were on a touchdown drive on that one, which would have cut this to a one-possession game, and now it's time for the Panthers. Can they open it up?
Dan Kissling and his boys real happy just to let this clock run, as they are trying to milk every second off of it, as a first down will stop the clock temporarily, but then take us ahead to quarter number 3, as the Panthers looking to win on homecoming night. They have a 21-10 lead. We head to the fourth quarter next here at the Badger South Bowl on 57 Sports. Well, if you're enjoying the game live on Facebook Live, our thanks goes to Ansay and Associates Insurance and Benefits Solutions, where they give you more than just insurance, they give you peace of mind. That's the Ansay way. 12 minutes left to go in this one. Along with Eric Rogers, I'm Rich Reynolds, and the Panthers with the ball and the lead on homecoming here. They've played one whale of a game so far.
They have, and I don't know who to give credit to on this. The Panthers players as a team, as a group, have just played their hearts out. Coach Kissling has obviously drawn up a good play calling so far tonight. This offseason, by the way, Rich, they added Sean Stokes as defensive coordinator, actually in 2013, I should say, who was a former Stoughton head coach. So certainly these two teams know each other. So
Nolan looks going to take it. He was rolling out, maybe looking to pass instead. I think it was just a designed run, and Nolan is going to get himself a first down and take it across midfield, as well as the Panthers continue to run that clock.
You know, you think about what these offenses look like, and one would think if a quarterback's going to be running, it's going to be Hobson for Stoughton. He's run it a few times, but Nolan, look, he's got into the end zone, called his own number, and you know, we saw that run right there.
First down, the give's going to be to Dylan DiMaggio. DiMaggio fighting for yardage across the 45-yard line. As it's been DiMaggio, it's been Schutte, it's been Look, it's been a little bit of McCorkle, but a lot of running here for the Panthers that have done the ground and pound thing, and it has worked for them.
Yeah, no mystery that the Panthers want to run the football. It's been their MO for a number of years now, and Stoughton having a hard time stopping that. Oregon, and actually neither of these teams have busted out any really big plays, maybe a couple of them, but just content to run some of these, you know, chunk plays, 3, 4, 5, 6 yards here or there, and, you know, it does move the chains, and what's most important for Oregon, it keeps that clock running.
Absolutely. It's McCorkle carries once again. The Panthers looking to win for the first time since 2015. And that was a 41-33 win for the Panthers back then. But it seems like a while ago. It seems like the fortunes of the teams have kind of turned since then. But tell you what, this Oregon team's a good-looking football team.
Well, another team that hasn't won in a while, but they finally did it in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns.
Yes, they did. Baker Mayfield coming on strong, and a first down run there as the Panthers will keep the chains and the clock moving. Yeah, I think the most amazing thing that happened in that game, and I watched it from start to finish, and when Mayfield came in, he performed very well. At the end of the game, Hugh Jackson was undecided as who his starting quarterback was going to be for the next Sunday's game. And like, really? You really have a decision to make on this one, Hugh? Maybe that's why you've only won one time out of the last 30-something games.
Yeah, but you know what that was. It was just, you know, the same kind of thing that we've seen with the Green Bay Packers. It's oh, Aaron Rodgers is suffering from a knee injury. Is he going to play? Of course he's going to play, but you're not going to let anyone know that until you absolutely have to.
He's the highest paid player in the NFL. He is the Green Bay Packers. He's going to be playing football. Another first down as Nolan Look takes it, and right now the Panthers are making this look easy. The Viking defense has to stiffen up here.
Well, this is, maybe last call if you're Stoughton. I mean, I know there's 10 minutes left in this ball game, but a touchdown here by Oregon puts it really almost out of reach.
Yeah, that'll seal it, I think. I mean, that's 3 scores then that you're going to need, and that's hard to do, especially on a windy night, and the Vikings are going to be going into the wind, and so far it hasn't looked like their passing game's been up to the task. Panthers going to keep it on the ground once again. This time it's Schutte, and he is pushed back and will lose yardage for the first time in a long time as that Viking defense now finally starting to show some energy.
Even a field goal, if Oregon even comes away with a field goal, that's a win for this Stoughton defense, and down by 2 touchdowns.
As once again now it is time for another sideline interview. Jessa, it's all yours.
All right, as you can see, we've got some Oregon Panthers here by the black and orange that they're sporting, supporting their teams. You guys are cheering on your team up on the stands. You're doing a great job tonight. Why do you guys like to come out here and support Oregon Panthers?
Well, it's a great atmosphere, and everyone's super into it, and it's just a great time over there with the rest of the students.
So tonight is homecoming night. Does that make it an extra special evening?
Definitely. Everyone is coordinated, and everyone's having a blast, and it's just one unity of the entire school coming together.
Do you think the Panthers are going to take home this trophy tonight?
Oh, yeah!
Collective, yes, of course. Let's do a cheer as we get back to the game. We got a little bit more football to tend to, but show us what you're doing up in the stands.
Ready? O-R-E!
O-R-E!
G-O-N!
G-O-N! O-R-E-G-O-N!
Oregon, Oregon!
I feel like I'm a student again. It's great. I'm back in the student section. Thanks, you guys, for showing your school spirit. Thank you for taking a break. We'll get back to the game.
I think I'm legally deaf now. That was loud.
That's what it's about.
This crowd has been loud all night long, as well as on 3rd and 13. The Panthers will go back to the ground. Interesting that on 2nd and 13, play action, Coach Kissling was going for the dagger right there on play action. He was taking a shot at the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, he knows this is an opportunity. This drive is very important, and now you do bring up that 4th and long. So this offense staying out on the field, it appears they are again going for the kill shot here, and they can obviously get a first down without scoring. But interesting choice by Dan Kissling.
Just one field goal attempted all season long for the Panthers. They go for it on 4th down inside the 10-yard line. That will be a first down. Carter Erickson hauls in the pass that was right on the money by Nolan Look. 4th and 9, they got 11 and a first down. That was huge.
Gutsy call there by Coach Kissling. Loft the ball out there where only Erickson can get it. And my favorite part about this play, Erickson just gets up like business as usual.
A backbreaker for the Vikings as they are going to need a goal line stand to stay in this football game right now. A great drive by the Panthers, who are basically going for the win here, if you will. If they can cap this off with points, this game is over. Clock's running. Wing T formation once again behind the quarterback. Look, he hands it off to Schutte. Schutte's going to get run out of bounds at the 6-yard line. And right there, if you're Keon Schutte, you know what you want to do?
Stay in bounds.
Yeah, you want to fall down and stay in bounds.
You got to think, when Stoughton looks back on this game, if they should lose this game, they're going to look back at that interception in the first half and say that was a drive we should have had points on the board. It should have been 7-7, and we should have been feeling good about where we're at. Instead, the Panthers intercept it, march all the way down the field, and score a touchdown, make it 14-0. And now the Stoughton's been playing from behind all night.
Yeah, that was the key moment of the game for sure. Clock is stopped because Schutte went out of bounds. It's going to be 2nd down and goal to go from the 5-yard line. And they're going to try going left this time. There's a lot more room. Play action toss. Look into the end zone and a touchdown. The arms came up late. I wasn't sure about it, but it is into the hands of Mason Grender. The junior comes up with a huge Geeks Mania arcade touchdown. And right there, I think that's your dagger.
Grender was kind of fading towards the side of the back line of the end zone, just tiptoeing that line. I almost didn't see him on the play, and I thought that is an incomplete pass, way overthrown, and instead is a touchdown and really points this game out of it.
Extra point attempt is good, and the Panthers got to be feeling pretty good about life right now. 28-10 Oregon, just over 8 minutes left here on 57 Sports. Let's take a look at what might be the deciding play of the game as we are on the Bachman's Pool Spas and Saunas replay. Nolan, look, it's hard to see. I was waiting for the ref to put the arms up, and he's able to hit Mason Grender for the Geeks Mania Arcade touchdown.
Grender may be just a junior. He had 7 carries, usually running the ball. He has 1 reception on the season, but it went for a touchdown. He's now 2 receptions, 2 touchdowns on the year.
All Mason Grender does is catch touchdowns. You know what that's from?
I missed the reference, Rich.
So, you know Chris Carter?
Of course.
Broadcaster, probably you know him as Hall of Fame wide receiver.
Yes.
He was on the Eagles before he was on the Vikings. Buddy Ryan.
What year was that?
This was late 80s, early 90s.
All right, that
Buddy
makes
Ryan
sense.
cut Chris Carter. When asked why he wanted to get rid of Chris Carter, he said, all Chris Carter does is catch touchdowns. That was his complaint about Chris Carter.
That's terrible.
That is and typical Buddy Ryan nonsense as well.
Good
yeah, that's
Lord.
awful that all your guy does is catch touchdown passes. You know, you don't want him doing that. Big hit on Dwight Walker as he is helped up at the 45-yard line. Clock's running, though. Stoughton's going to have to get bigger chunks if they want to get back in this game.
You know another guy who seemingly only caught touchdowns, Jerry Rice.
Yeah, he caught a lot more than that, though, yeah. but that was the complaint that Buddy Ryan had about Chris Carter.
That's wild.
Who, of course, went on to the Vikings and was amazing. Hobson's going to keep it and going to be near first down yardage. I think where the spot is, he is going to have that. So that's good for the Vikings because it does stop the clock with 7:19 left while they move the sticks and reset.
Yeah, desperation time here for the Vikings. We'll see what Coach Dan Prohl calls up. He was a second-team all-conference running back and linebacker for the Panthers his senior year. He played with his or for his father, Bob, who coached 27 years at OHS, a Hall of Famer in 2015. So Prohl certainly has the chops, but these play calls are not fooling his alma mater.
Yeah, that right there was a pass to Hutcherson that was 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And when you need 18 points in less than 7 minutes, that's not going to do it. The ball's got to go downfield.
I mean, this is time to dig into that playbook and see what else you have. There's been few shots downfield, so look through those passing plays. See if you got any 20-plus yarders in your repertoire.
In the pocket all day for Hobson. Now he's going to take off and run with it. Flag down. Definite hold as Hobson, still on his feet, is going to catch a big hit at the 30-yard line, all for naught, as that one is coming back.
And that's the issue when you have all sorts of time like that in the pocket and then you escape the pocket. A lot of times it's going to result in a penalty flag, especially when your offensive line is saying, let me just get one more second of protection for my quarterback. Oh, he escaped.
Yeah, and I wonder if they actually got Big Jack Nelson out there, number 75 on the edge. That would have been the easiest guy to see, and if they did, that's the second time tonight that he's going to get flagged for a holding call.
You know what my issue when I was looking at tape of Jack Nelson, here's the one criticism I have. He's so dominant in the stuff I saw on film. A lot of times he's pushing on run plays, bowling over the other guy on the other side of the line and getting ahead of the running back, and by the time the running back gets to the hole, it's closed up.
Yeah.
So that's a good problem to have. Unfortunately, this time it marches the Vikings backwards.
The last time we saw a Badger prospect on the offensive line, it was one Caden Lyles, as you take a look at Dan Prohl. And you remember, he was actually the offensive player of the game in a game that we actually did. And Caden Lyles now on the defensive side of the ball for the Wisconsin Badgers.
Well, to throw it back to another thing our former colleague Joe DeGuano told us at halftime when we went down and talked with some of our fans, it's just before you're in high school, and even when you're in high school, you don't know exactly where you're going to play. You get to college, and they'll still be shifting you around, and a lot of these guys, especially at this level, are playing both sides of the ball, and it's for good reason because you don't know where your skills are going to develop, and then when you get to that next level, it's a lot of for your own benefit.
Tim Tebow would still be in the NFL if he would have been a tight end.
Ah, that's what it is.
Look at Julian Edelman. He was a quarterback.
LeBron James still a better tight end than Tim Tebow.
3rd and 18. Hobson's going to throw it long and right in and out of the hands of Connor Knopf. That hit him between the 4 and the 0, and it ends up hitting the turf.
It
Fourth down.
also went through the hands of Ben Adams, the defender, on the play, and I think that's what caused some a little bit of misconcentration, unable to haul that ball in.
What a frustrating night for the Stoughton Vikings passing game. It has just never gotten going. And here on 4th and 18 now, you got to guess it's another long pass play.
Well, it's going to be an ugly game from here on out if Stoughton can't pick up a first down, because then we're going to see predictable run plays from Oregon, punt, and then Stoughton try to come back.
Crowd making noise. All of the Stoughton secondary a good 10, 15 yards off the ball. Hobson, plenty of time, gonna air it out. A lot of defenders around there, and it's incomplete. It looked like Anderson had it in his hands, but 3 defenders were there, and they were able to knock it away. And there is a flag down that came in late. We'll see what this is about. Again, usually in the area of holding, the only other thing might have been roughing the passer, but I didn't see anyone near him. Nope, it's a hold. That'll be declined, and the Oregon Panthers are going to win the Badgers South Bowl here on homecoming night.
And some of the crowd that realizes what that means start to cheer as they know their Oregon Panthers are going to beat the Stoughton Vikings here on homecoming. And it historically has not really been the case for these Panthers. And
you know, it was kind of interesting during the 10 Pin Alley pregame show how Coach Kissling was telling us that, hey, Coach Prawl is very confident. I kind of called him on that it meant something else. And what was funny is when the Stoughton Viking players came out, they came out on the Oregon side to take the field, and they were egging the fans on. They were waving their arms in the air to make noise as the crowd was getting pretty upset. And it kind of worked against them because when they came out in the second half, they were roundly jeered, and that might come back as one of those things that you learn a lesson in humility if you're the Vikings, because it's been all Oregon since the get-go here tonight.
And I mean, I know there's a lot of excitement when you come into a game. You want to spoil someone's homecoming, but I'm guessing Coach Prawl did not let his guys, say, hey, before the game or when you're coming on the field, go and just give it to the Oregon fans a little bit. No, of course he probably told his team at halftime and said, listen, that's not what we're about. We're a team that's, was 5-0, about to be 5-1, and maybe he tells his team this is what you get.
Teams will, though, take on the personality of their head coach, and they were definitely pretty confident as they took the field here tonight. And they should be. They've won the last 3-4 meetings against Oregon, including that playoff one, so it would have been 16-17, so 3 in a row that they've actually won in this series. As a penalty, a Cobuson Bus's flag that was down, and a 15-yard penalty. Didn't see what the flag could have possibly have been, as that was a dead ball foul there, as Stoughton's going to take a timeout, talk it over. Just over 5.5 minutes left in the Badgers South Bowl, presented by A1 Furniture and Mattress. It's all Oregon here on 57 Sports. Big thank you to Pizza Pit of Oregon for feeding us here tonight. Pizza, there was gyros, there was pasta, salads, all kinds of good stuff. So thank you to Oregon's Pizza Pit. 5:36 left in this one, 28-10 Panthers, and they are looking to put the finishing touches on what has been a great game for them here tonight. And really, with the tougher games, most of them at least behind them, for the Panthers. They should end up with a pretty good record this year.
They would. I mean, now you go on to face, as we said, you're going to take on an Edgewood team that's 1-4, 0-3 in conference play. They're, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, and you'll notice some of the scores coming across your timeline, and Edgewood is actually losing right now. So, you know, you're going to go against a team that's still winless in the conference. And by the way, this loss for Stoughton, it holds them off. It keeps them out of the postseason for one more week. For Oregon, it's another win closer to a postseason berth. So they win tonight. They take on Edgewood next week. Oregon could clinch. Stoughton is going to have to beat Watertown if they want to clinch next week.
Yeah, the Vikings, it doesn't get any easier. They're going to be hosting the Goslings next week. And then after that, they are at Monona Grove, a team that we saw that is really, really good. So they got a tough schedule here. And, you know, worst case scenario, if you're the Vikings, maybe you got to clinch it on the last game of the year when they host Fort at Stoughton. But, boy, you don't want it to come down to that.
Yeah, that's what you'd like to do is obviously come into that game having already clinched. Maybe some other guys get playing time, or maybe you try some new plays. Instead, if you go into that week and that's your clinch week, I mean, maybe it's a good lesson to say we should have, you know, taken Oregon more seriously maybe, but.
Well, and the Vikings, too, they struggled with Monroe, and we saw that Fort team. Hey, that was a team that fights. So, you know, that could be an interesting game there, too. So for the Vikings, you know, this is kind of a tough loss as Nolan Look going to stay on his feet all the way into the end zone. Touchdown, Panthers, a 21-yard scamper by Nolan Look. When that play started, I didn't think it had a prayer of being a touchdown, but Look just followed his blocks all the way to pay dirt.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that is just a mental defeat by the Vikings. Say, you know what, you might as well score. This game's over. You know, and I don't know, going back to the records and where things stand, I kind of wonder if maybe the records have been fool's gold. When you look at a Stoughton team that was 5-0, having not played anyone with a winning record, Oregon 3-2, haven't beaten anyone with a winning record, but now they have.
And they were close in those games as the extra points good. We'll come back for the finish of the Badgers South Bowl. You're watching the A1 Furniture and Mattress Bowl Series on 57 Sports. All Panthers here tonight. You know, before the break, we were talking about their upcoming schedules. Speaking of upcoming schedules, we are back in the Big 8 Conference as that kick was mishandled by the Vikings, and Owen Chase, who was able to get on it. Next week, we're back in the Big 8 Conference, the County Line Bowl, as we'll be at Brighton Box Stadium, Middleton hosting Janesville Craig.
And Janesville Craig may be one of the more surprising teams coming into this season. Maybe not if you ask the Cougars, but they start off that season 4-0 and leading in the conference standings, and you thought, wait a minute. Or maybe it was 3-1, but either way, they're up there in the standings. You thought there's no way this Craig team is as good as they think they are, but crazier things have happened, and it's been an interesting year in the Big 8. Excited to call that one.
Yeah, that one should be good as that pass a little bit behind Walker. He drops it there at midfield. Yeah, also, if you like your non-Meryl Streep sports, she doesn't like football and she doesn't like MMA. We're going to have Chosen Few Fighting Championships number 15 coming up, as that is actually happening at Monona Terrace on Saturday night. We're looking forward to bringing you that one as well. A lot of good stuff along with ACC football, Notre Dame football, all here on 57 Sports.
A lot of local content, sports to watch if you got nothing better to do.
Hobson going long, and that one is also incomplete again, into the hands of the receiver and out, as that time Hobson was on the money for Connor Knopf, and he drops his second pass in a row.
You know, if I'm Dan Prawl, looking at film this week, some of these plays, like this fourth quarter, obviously you want to look at some of the finer details of how you got beat on some of these plays, but a lot of it I'm just going to throw out. How much of that is just a mental error? You drop the ball like that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that play that just happened. That's a play that maybe if it happens in the second quarter when the game is still in reach, you catch that ball, you feel good. A lot of these guys maybe just feeling like, it's a loss.
Stoughton will have to bounce back quickly again at home against Watertown next week. 3rd and long.
Yikes.
Big hit as the pass is complete, but right now you got to be more concerned for the receiver out there. That was Kanoff. Held on to that one and paid the price. He bounces up, thankfully, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, you feel a little bit of concern. You realize these are young men and got a whole long life ahead of them, you would hope. And luckily for Kanoff, he just gets up and gets right back in the game.
4th down and 3. Pass is going to be complete to Anderson, and he is going to go out of bounds at the 42, converting on that 4th down. And he's limping now. Maybe he pulled a hammy there. One thing I got to say, from the days when I played football, you would take a big hit like that. You would come out of it with your bell rung, they called it. And that's all you would really hear is just kind of like this flat line, doo, kind of a sound. I mean, you did get your bell rung. You might have taken a play off, and then you were right back in there. And I do like, at least in football, it's a dangerous sport, no doubt, but they're trying to make it safer, without going to flag football, if you will.
Well, in some instances better than others, but certainly with the safety concerns and how they're treating head trauma, they've grown by leaps and bounds as far as that's concerned. You do have a lot of these players, some of them even retiring to study CTE and what all these head injuries have done to players. So it does start at the lower levels, and right here in high school football, they've certainly been doing a better job at that.
Yeah, former Badger doing that, retiring from the 49ers. Chris Borland, is that his name?
So Chris Borland did. Yeah. He did retire for that reason. There was another more recent, I thought another connection to Wisconsin. I couldn't remember his name, but there is another player within the last year that's retired to do that.
Speaking of Wisconsin connection, shout out to Joe Schobert last night.
Oh, goodness.
Had a great game and an interception at the end that sealed it for the Cleveland Browns. And he just looks wonderful in the NFL. I mean, he looked great as a collegiate too, but he looks great out on the pro field.
Well, how about, James White, Corey Clement, some of these running backs, Melvin Gordon, that started their career at Wisconsin as just true running backs, and now they're pass-catching backs at the next level.
Yeah, and also a name from the past, Michael Bennett. Might not be a name that too many people remember, but he was one of those guys. He had a lot of good seasons up in Minnesota catching the football.
That's hard not to remember a guy who was dominant and fast
Michael
as he
Bennett
was.
Great, yeah, I loved watching him. 4th down and 9, another 4th down here for the Vikings. Hobson over the middle behind his intended target. That was Kanoff again, and that will do it probably for the Viking offense, as the Panthers should probably just be able to run out the clock here.
Well, my guess is on homecoming you would put out some extra players here, seniors or people who have been deserving of getting playing time but maybe haven't had the skills to get out there, get them some reps and just run this clock out as kind of an ode to those players and what they've done, and obviously it being homecoming as well.
Yeah, they deserve it. I mean, you think of all the hours that are put in, just months of lifting and training and practice. And yeah, I mean, you want to see some of those guys get out there and play on homecoming. Takes a lot of sacrifice to be a student athlete, and we definitely salute them. I love that we actually have an award that we give away for that through Dental Health Associates called the Student Leader Award. And just good stuff, a lot of good stuff going on with student athletes today.
Well, and you see a lot of schools boasting, and there's statistics to back that up, that these student athletes a lot of times have higher GPAs than non-athletes. And that's not to say that those other students aren't intelligent. It's just there's something about maybe the routine and schedule and discipline of being in athletics that's helped these young men and women to succeed in the world.
It does work. It's pretty amazing. My son going to Edgewood College, they are real happy with the fact that the baseball team had a 3.65 GPA as a team last year. I mean, that's incredible stuff when you think of how much work they got to put in for practice and traveling to games and all of that. So, yeah, student athletes, a lot of times, they know what they have on the line. If they want to play, they got to get good grades.
Some colleges might take that to mean a little bit something different, but, you know, in this state, I'd like to think they do it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Final seconds ticking away here as Oregon's going to take one more knee, and then it's time to celebrate homecoming here in Oregon. Waiting for the ref to put his hands up. There we go. And that'll do it. A well-deserved victory for the Panthers here tonight. They were dominant from the opening drive on. It was all Panthers all night long, and they're going nuts right now, and they're going to get a big trophy for their efforts here tonight and a homecoming win to boot. 35-10 is our final score. Oregon over Stoughton. We are going to check out the Rosen Nissan plays of the game and then have the trophy ceremony, all of that straight ahead as you're watching the Badger South Bowl presented by A1 Furniture and Mattress here on 57 Sports. We're checking out the Rosen Nissan plays of the game. There were a bunch of them. Most of them belong to the Oregon Panthers.
Oregon Panthers really took it to Stoughton tonight. I mean, it was domination all the way, and as you know, we're looking at a lot of line play tonight leading to the Panther victory.
Dylan DiMaggio, the fullback, with a big run to get it going early on for the Panthers. This was on the opening drive for them, and it was capped off on a touchdown there. Keon Schutte cutting back and then getting into the end zone. Whether it was Schutte, whether it was McCorkle, whether it was DiMaggio or Nolan Look, they were all getting good yards on the ground.
Well, Stoughton had an opportunity to tie this game up. Instead, it's a pick that results in a scoring drive for the Panthers, and boy, was that a turning point.
Yeah, that might be the Rosen Nissan play of the game right there, because it set up the ensuing touchdown on that drive, made it 14-0, and the Panthers just really never looked back after that.
Well, Stoughton had a couple of opportunities to make this a ball game, and there were turnovers, missed opportunities, some throws that went over receivers' heads. They never really got the passing game going. They did establish a couple big runs, as you see here.
Yeah, there were some bright moments for the Stoughton offense, but not a lot of it through the air. Even though Hobson had a lot of time to throw, he misfired a lot, as this was a nice play out for the Panthers as they were getting going. But yeah, he missed a lot of his throws. Then there was we saw the interception. There was a fumble earlier as well. Those turnovers coupled with what was really a good running game for the Panthers, that was it.
Well, 2 turnovers in the first half Oregon's defense was able to force. They also forced the turnover on downs in the third quarter that kind of sealed it. I mean, what else can you say about this team other than it was just unexpected and domination by the Panthers?
Absolutely, as the Panthers are going to improve on the season of 4-2 overall, 3-1 in the Badger South Conference. And for Stoughton, it's a tough road ahead as they are going to be hosting Watertown, and then after that, it doesn't get any easier as they are at Monona Grove. So tough road for the Vikings the rest of the way.
Yeah, kind of opposite schedules. Stoughton got tough games coming up, and Oregon looks like things get a little easier after tonight, so you take a couple of games. Don't want to say you take a couple of games off, but not as tough. Should feel pretty good coming out of those games, potentially clinch a playoff spot as well.
Hey, Eric, good stuff. We are going to head down now from the booth down onto the field as we have the A1 Trophy presentation coming up. That's next, right here on 57 Sports.
All right, welcome back to the A1 Furniture and Mattress Badger South Bowl. I knew it was coming. An excited group of football players here. If you're just tuning in, we've got the Oregon Panthers here who have just defeated the Stoughton Vikings. This has been a long-time rivalry of schools, so congratulations, Coach. A friendly rivalry, a well-deserved trophy here tonight we're going to hand to you. So congratulations on behalf of A1 Furniture and 57 Sports.
Thank you very much.
All right, I'm going to have Rich take.
Yeah, and Coach, that was definitely well-deserved. I was so impressed, I say, out of all the things that I saw tonight, your offensive line play, you were blowing guys off the ball tonight. They did such a great job, didn't they?
They did a great job, and that's where it all starts in the trenches, and our guys did just a heck of a job all night long.
So the game is 7-0. Stoughton's going down the field. It looks like maybe, so they're in red zone, almost a scoring opportunity. Interception really turned the game around, I think, because then you guys go score offensively, make it 14-0. Did you feel like that was a turning point?
Well, I think it was huge, but I just think our defense did a great job tonight. I think they're underrated as a defense, and they did a great job. And it was a huge thing. You know, we bent a little bit, we didn't break, and to keep this team, we're just scoring 10 points. It's a huge win for us.
Yeah, talk about the defense if you could quickly, because it seemed like at times their quarterback had time in the pocket, could survey the defense, but the secondary was amazing. It was blanket coverage all night long.
Yeah, they couldn't get anything deep, and I think that really struggled. That really hurt them, and I think they got frustrated with it. And we just kept on with the game plan. They did a great job.
So historically, maybe homecoming hasn't been the greatest of nights, and we've talked about how before the game, oh, you have Stoughton on the schedule. That's not only a tough game, but a rivalry, and typically you want to have an easy game. So to come out with a win now, stop Stoughton from getting clinching a playoff spot. How do you feel about that?
Whenever you beat Stoughton, it's huge. And our kids came out here and not just beat them, we made a statement, and we kicked their hinders all night long.
You can't say Heine on TV, Coach. you definitely can. Yeah, congratulations. Well-deserved victory, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and good to see him. What a game by the Panthers here tonight, winners of the Badgers South Bowl. Great job by our crew. Our thanks for Jessa Jeremiah and Eric Rogers. I'm Rich Reynolds. We'll see you next week from Middleton as you've been watching the Badger South Bowl right here on 57 Sports.